shack at. The bottles getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
Punters, hustlers, low baggers. Happy Wednesday, September 13th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Ooh-wee. NHL, NBA aren't even here yet. College basketball is not even here yet. And the pressure is high. A lot to do, a lot to cap. Thank God we've gotten off to a real strong start in NFL. We did bankroll blitz last night, and I moved on 8 bets on the card. The 8 spots that I moved on, I'll pull up for you guys right here. I'm on the Eagles first half team total over 13.5 in 36 hours. I'm on the Bills first half team total over 13.5 against the Raiders. I'm on the Bears Bucks under 41.5. I'm on the Saints Panthers under 40. And then I have doubled up first half and full game on both the Chiefs and the New York Giants. So that is my action at this point. There's 2 or 3 other spots I came close to that I stayed off. We're 6-3 in week 1. We went 10-8 in the preseason. We're 16-11, up 3.6 units right now. And, you know, working with Troy, I'm brimming with confidence right now. I expect us to win and win and win. And that's what we've done so far. He had a monster week 1. I love what we're doing. I love the input from the chat. I love our squad. And I want to make money. And due to the difficult MLB season that I've had, I need to succeed. There's just I don't remember the stakes ever being higher in my career. So that's what's up. Katina Jefferson, now a member of We Be Pubbin. Shout out to Katina Jefferson. We got Londo in the house. Winning Wednesday play of the day is Tampa Bay, Minnesota over 8.5. We have C-Mac joining us on today's show. I love these C-Mac Wednesdays. We have a full MLB card, including afternoon action. And then we have I don't want to say best bets. I don't want to put that on Connor, but he's got a bet on the Friday card. And there was some spots that I almost bet last night in college football. And there was only one that completely worked. And I was like, you know, I could talk about why I was close to betting Missouri or why I was close to going back to the well with Old Dominion. But who wants to know what I was close to betting? You guys want to know what I actually bet. And I've moved on one spot where it all correlated. So I was like, you know what? That's the only game we'll break down here. If I end up moving on Missouri or, you know, ODU or any of that, then we can, you know, break it down. But I don't want to this isn't just for fluff and content. This is moves that we're making that we want to cash on. And we have a college football show. So I'm not just going to pull up a college football game just so we can talk about angles and odds and, you know, no, we talk about games that we're going to bet. And so I've only made one bet on the card and everything correlated for me. And I moved on it. I gave 3 out last week, 3 sides. And I was like, if you bet these 3, we're going to have a positive ROI. Now, I was very wrong about NC State, or maybe I was very wrong about how good Notre Dame was. Whatever. ODU outright winner as a 6-point dog. And Cal, we got at 6.5, went down to 5. Cal should have also been an outright winner, but they're bumbling idiots. We still covered easily, but geez. Mr. Freeze was very fortunate that Cal's a bunch of bumbling ass clowns. All right, so that's the situation we have ourselves. A tongue tie. Oh, let me copy and paste the winning Wednesday look from our guy Londo here. He's coming off a big day full of confidence, and that is Tampa Bay, Minnesota. Thank God the Rays lost yesterday to the Twinkies. That was extremely helpful after the Orioles loss. So the Orioles still have that 3-game lead on the plus 525 that I desperately need for the Orioles to win the division. Also, an Blue Jays money line from Londo as well. Blue Jays money line. And I'm sure it's been tough on people watching them lose, but I've not invested in their futures, so I don't have to have my heart break with every time this team shows no heart whatsoever. Tongue-tied, Dav Fenn ready to go. Justin McElvey, stacks play of the day is in Tigers. Team total over 4.5 at plus 110. Let's get that in here. Detroit Tigers, team total over. That is the Connor Phillips start, the 22-year-old Connor Phillips against Eduardo Rodriguez. So Justin McElvey on the Tigers to go for over 4.5 runs. There's Reclaimed James in the house. Jay Smooth ready to get to work. There's my guy Troy Torrance in the house. Serious business. Troy Torrance has moved on 5 spots in NFL as well. He's a must follow on Twitter. Troy Torrance 11. Follow him. Follow him. Billy Friedrich says NFLPA calling for grass fields because Rodgers got injured. What a joke. They already have the Rodgers rule in place. Defenders can't land with their body weight on the quarterback. Yeah, but there are a bunch of players concerned about that surface. You know, I mean, remember when the 49ers didn't want to play on it. You know, there's a lot of people that have been uncomfortable with that surface for a long time. But that, and they're changing it for the World Cup of soccer. So, you want to see a league look after the athletes. And so I can understand why. I mean, if you look at the amount of injuries we've had in East Rutherford, it's more than we should. It's just more. It's just simple. Like, you just look at the numbers. There's more injuries than we should. But I hear what you're saying, Billy. Wine Time Sports in the house. Mally Mal on the Twins' first 5 at plus 110. Twins' first 5 at plus 110. Let's get that in here as well. Locked and loaded. Wine Time Sports, Anthony Velez, Subhuman Gaucho, Real Deal Prime, Philly Eagle Flyer, North Ender ready to get to work. Billy Friedrich says 27 days until NHL opening night. North Ender says he's so happy to have football back. Mally Mal says can't wait for NBA and NHL. Yeah, things are going to get intense around here. Intense. Real Deal Prime says hockey rookies versus rookies. Hockey rookies versus rookies start this Friday. Sabres versus Montreal. Buffalo is loaded. Yeah, I'm going to head down to Buffalo. I'd like to head down a few times, but I'm going to go down next month, stay at the Seneca, and do some gambling. And I want to watch Sabres hockey. I'm very excited about that football team, or the hockey team, excuse me. Billy Friday says be very, very, very careful week 2 NFL. It's always overreaction week. Yes, and that was my thing yesterday, and it still will be. All I want to back are teams that didn't look good in week 1. And so, I think I've done that with the Eagles, Bills, Chiefs, and Giants. I will not back a team that looked good in week 1. But that's a lot of fun. Darren Turner says, is Kelsey playing Sunday? We don't know. It won't matter to me if he's not playing. I expect to cash those bets regardless. So we'll see. But we don't know yet. But we don't know. I don't want to get dive too into it. Thank you, North Ender. Joseph Thompson, my man. Al Cervic in the house. Great to see you. Reclaim James, Ass Eater play of the day is 2-0 so far. We have the Oryx Buffaloes at minus 125. This guy stepping up for Ass Eaters all over the world is what he's doing. I mean, the guy is doing the Lord's work here for Ass Eaters. And he's moved. He's moved on the Oryx Buffaloes. If you look up ass eating, in the dictionary. It's probably something you should just look up online. Reclaim James is their leader. 2-0 with the Ass Eater play of the day, and today it's the Oryx Buffaloes. And of course, Ass Eaters focus on Japanese baseball. Brian Watson, Steve G, Mr. Vape, the Sweaty Butcher, Mikey M, DC Capper coming off a 7-2 Saturday, a 5-1 Sunday. Nice job. Brandon the Great, Kong's Clips. It is a great, great group. A great, great group. Osby in the house. We've missed you, Osby. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today is in. It is the Orioles, -1 and -124. I'm on them, as always. I'm on them. Let's get this, man. Let's get this. There's Christian Hoover ready to get to work. Rocco Rogers. This is a great group. Rem Most, Nate Dogg 420, Londo. Everybody ready to go. So let's get to work. Brian Watson, thank you guys all for joining us. Dav Fenn says Yandy Diaz out. Left game last night. Update just as I started post 2 minutes ago. Diaz is back in the lineup. Overlooks better. Christopher Tatum, Joey Harb. Thank you guys all for joining us. We'll have our guy C-Mac rolling with us shortly. But in the meantime, let's get to work. We start at 1:10 p.m. Eastern. The Tampa Bay Rays at the Minnesota Twins. Rays, Twins here. DC Capper moving on the Cubbies first 5. I'll copy and paste all of that action. But let's go. We've had Mally Mal already give us the Minnesota Twins first 5. It's amazing what a difference all of a sudden Dallas Keuchel is at home. It's so crazy. I mean, this guy's out of the league. There's my guy Chase White in the house. Out of the league. Nobody wants him. He's atrocious. And in 21 1/3 innings, at Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota, he's allowed 3 earned runs. I don't know how anybody can explain that other than Trobalon. I don't know how anyone. Rays, Twinkies, Target Field. Let's get to work here. I have a ton of these, the Jackson Rutledges and the Connor Phillips. I did as much work as I could on these guys. So that's all up in Adam. The Action Network up in Adam. Let's start with the weather here at Target Field. 59 Fahrenheit, 4.8 miles per hour in 4.8 to 4 miles per hour. We have Ballpark Pals expectations of Target Field minus 27% home runs. That's pretty big. Minus 27% home runs, plus 3% doubles and triples, but minus 4% overall. There we go. Wine Time has 2 plays here. There's Kelly McInnes ready to get to work. Wine Time is got the Blue Jays money line and the Twins money line. Copy and paste it. Here we go. Slatzy says, hope you got some sleep, Jimmy. I was jacked up after that NFL show. I'm so pumped up about football right now. It's extremely enjoyable. And no, it's impossible to sleep right now on a Tuesday going into Wednesday. But that's fine. I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go. I feel locked in. Nunya driving from Tampa to Birmingham. Let's find our spots. Drive safe, Nunya, my guy. And L on Boston minus 135 yesterday for Ron. So tomorrow, you'll see Ron's record, Jose's now a blossoming record, and my trash record will all be up here on the screen. But with when we finished NFL, and then I needed to get some bets out in NFL, and that took an hour and a half or so. Everyone knows it's not easy. You don't just fire these things off. Okay, Kelly McInnes says he thinks Tampa smashes them. Tampa minus 1.5. And our guy Lucas Ryan says, job update, guys. I'm the youngest salesman at a promo products company, still delivering flowers for the next month while I switch over. Congratulations, Lucas Ryan. That is wonderful news, man. We are so excited for you. Keep up the good work, and congratulations, man. Great news. Okay, I'm going to set this up, and then we have our guy C-Mac jumping on. So let me just set up the line history before he jumps on here for this one. The first 5 I have up right now, so it's something to talk about because Ballpark Pal has the minus 27% in home runs. This 5 on the first 5 has moved to a 4.5 as well. That 4.5, when it first moved at 8:23 a.m., was at plus 105. Within 4 minutes, it was minus 105. Now it's come back 6 cents, but that's a pretty big move, a 10-cent move, even when it moved to 4.5. Let's go over to the full game total here. We've seen a drop here as well. This is now sitting at 8.5. This opened up at 9. This moved to 8.5 at 8:21 a.m. Get over to the money line here for this spot. And we have the Rays and Taj Bradley sitting at minus 120. They opened up at minus 119. They're now at minus 120. Let's get into the cash for this one. We have on the total just 23% of tickets on the under and 47% of cash. Wow. On the money line, we have 28% of tickets and 35% of cash on the Minnesota Twins. There's Shun Childress in the house. Nice to have you back in action with us. We got Don Play ready to go. Billy Friedrich like in the first 5, over 4.5 in the full game, over 8.5 in Tampa Bay, Minnesota. With all of this setup, I'm going to talk about the pitchers a little bit, but let's bring on your star of our Wednesday programming here at Pub Sports Radio, coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada, ready for MLB, and he's picked a spot on Friday that he's bet in college football, and he's going to talk about my spot as well. Please welcome Conor Mac to the show. C-Mac, how are you, my man?
Jimmy, what's going on? Shout out to the chat. I'm doing well. Big card baseball. Talk a little college football. I cannot wait. Let's get to it.
Great to have you here. It's great to have you here, my man. Let's go. So I've set up the market. We've had to move to the under, and it's a bit of a surprise here, but I only say that because of a vividness bias on Dallas Keuchel, not because of what he's done at home, because what he's done at home has been very impressive. As I said, again, 3 earned runs in 21 and third innings with the 221 opponent's batting average. So Taj Bradley, he's just not the pitching at a level expected of him. As the other, stars coming up, the young, most highly thought of prospects, they've all kind of found their way. Grayson Rodriguez is similar to Taj Bradley, found his way. These guys found their way, but Taj hasn't seemed to do that. Coming off a 7-4 win at home versus the Mariners, he allowed 3 more home runs. He's allowed 17 home runs in 86 innings. He does have 111 strikeouts, 33 walks. On the road, 5.09 ERAs, struggles at home, struggles on the road. And then you have Keuchel coming off that 5-2 win at home versus the Mets. He allows 2 earned runs over 5 innings. He just seems to be pitching well at home. Rays versus lefties, 249, 719 OPS since August 1st. I still have the August 1st. I limited it to 6 weeks, so that's about up here. And tomorrow I'll move over to at least August 15th to September 14th, I guess. Twins versus righties, 244, 780 OPS. Braves bullpen, 3.46 ERA since August 1st. Twins bullpen, 4.54. Slatsy says Twins back Keuchel with nearly 5.5 runs per start. Bradley gives up 4.5 walks per 9. Twins team total over 3.5 at minus 138. What the hell are you going to do with Dallas Keuchel today, C-Mac?
I would not bet him. I just can't put my money on him in this one. I think both these, like you talked about how good he's been in the few starts with the road, he's gotten shelled. I think there's runs. I'm just not crazy. You talk about the move to the under in this already, but I don't trust these pitchers. You talked about the ballpark too, I think you said, right, Jimmy? Ballpark Pal, you named off that stuff. I just think they give it up. Twins haven't seen Bradley. Don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing. He just hasn't been good lately, and especially the long ball. I think he gave up 3 or 4 homers in his last start when I was going through it. So I don't mind it. I mean, I'd go full game over. I just don't love it. Both team totals, I think, could get there in this one. Can Keuchel go out and just throw his lollipops and maybe get through here? So I don't want it. I have to be off. I'm tempted by the Twins in the over and runs. I don't want my money on this game.
I don't want to go up against what I see as a sharp move towards the under. And I also, I like the way, the bigger gamblers and the bigger, syndicates, stuff like that, they're not watching these games. They beat the market move. They like their model says there's an advantage here, and then they go do whatever the hell they do. We watch Keuchel out there throw, as you said, lollipops. Our guy Shun Childress giving us a AAA Columbus Clippers look here at -110. Shun, thank you for sharing that with us, my man. Great to have you back in business with us. I'm going to copy and paste that right there. So, look, Mally Mouse says, don't Twins have the Rays number? I do not want. I believe those numbers are legitimate in 21 and third innings at Target Field for whatever reason. I can't explain it, but
exactly
it's now being long enough, and I know 21 and third is a small sample size, but he just keeps doing it at home. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I know he's bad. I've seen him pitch bad. I saw him out of the league, just because the numbers, are what they are. Like, there's nothing I can do about that.
You're right. I mean, it was on the road, but he was old Keuchel a couple times. But both, at Philly, at Texas, just.
Yeah, I don't want to be I don't want to sit here and say, look, I'm on the under. I'm going to trust the market move. But that's what I would do here. I would trust the market move. But Londo on the over, Billy Friedrich on the over, Slatsy on the team total over. There's my guy Gifted Cartel in the house. Cheshire Cat says he loved fading Keuchel last year. We had some good times fading him early this year. But that one dude says Keuchel has played no one. The Rays are hitting 249, 719 OPS versus lefty since August 1st.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're the Orioles coming at them, So there is our guy TJ says, "What up, fam? Gift cashes again on Friday now. 34 and 14, 4-1 in the Cappers contest. Things are good, and we have TJ's gift here today. It will be coming up later. You can't join us on screen, but we will have his gift to share. Okay, so I want afternoon action as much as anybody. It makes our days so much more enjoyable. But the only thing I would move on here is the first 5 under, and I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to pass here. Are we ready to pass and move over to Coors Field, C-Mac?
Let's pass it.
All right, 3:10 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Cubs 78 and 68, 37 and 34 on the road. Now 10 games over 500. What a job they've done over there. At the Colorado Rockies 52 and 92, 30 and 39 at home. We're at Coors Field. Let's get into the weather then first and foremost over in Coors. 77 Fahrenheit, 6.4 miles per hour in. 6.4. It's right to left, so it's very slightly in. 6.4 to 8.2 miles per hour here. Take a look at Ballpark Pal expectations of Coors. Always go right to the top. Plus 30% home runs, plus 23% doubles and triples, plus 30% runs. So very offensive weather here at Coors. Let's move over to the line history then in this. We'll start with the money line here, and we have Tyon and the Cubbies sitting at -174. They opened up at -167. This opened up at 5 p.m. yesterday. There was no move towards the Cubbies until 10:19 a.m. So, 29 hours. Oh, excuse me. What am I talking about? 29 hours. Jesus, what's wrong with me? 17 hours. This line was out, and it did not move. And that is important to know. But now it's moved 7 cents. Let's go over to the total in this one. Sitting here at 11.5. Now there were 12s, across the board. This 12 was also juiced to the over. The first time it moved to 11.5 was 8:30 this morning. Again, this came out 5 p.m. yesterday. And then it stuck there. That's where it is right now. It's at 11.5. So we have a half run move to the under and a very tiny, tiny move to the Cubs. 90% of the tickets are on the Cubs, and I understand it. Just 72% of the cash, but 90% of the tickets, and the market's not moving towards them. From a total scenario, you have 30% of the tickets and 59% of the cash on the under. Jameson Taillon coming off that spectacular start when he went up against Zach Gallen, and the wind was blowing in. It was a great pitcher situation, and it was a great pitcher's duel. Taillon is trying to turn his season around late, but he's been bad this year. 5.27 ERA, 1.30 WHIP. But that last start was great. He's had a couple of them this year. He had that beautiful start against the Yankees as well. On the road, he's got a 5.58 ERA and points rating 297 off him. Then we have Ty Block, my block, your block, Ty Block, 2-1, 4.58 ERA, 1.51 WHIP, 34 Ks in 59 innings. I remember when Ty Block was younger. As I'm a Giants. My family's from San Francisco, and so I keep a very close eye on the Giants, and I liked him. I always liked him. And now, he's like 32 years old. He's barely had a career in the show, and I backed him on the under last Friday, and it was against Kyle Harrison. And I took the first 3 under 2.5 and the first 5 under 4.5. And Ty Block was excellent. Harrison allowed 3 runs in the 3rd inning. Those were the only 3. I lost my first 3 under 2.5, and I was livid. I got fortunate that no more runs were scored until the 6th inning. That final score was 9-8, but they went through.
Yeah, it broke out.
Yeah,
after that,
huge. But it was, Ty Block got lit up in the top of the 6th. In that game, he went through 5 innings, didn't allow a run. Then he allowed 3 home runs without getting an out in the top of the 6th. At home, he's been pretty good. 2-0 with a 4.62 ERA. He's only allowed 3 home runs and 25 in the 3rd, but they have a 349 batting average against him at home. Cubs are hitting 260, but not with much power against lefties. 731 OPS. Rockies versus righties 247-04. Cubs bullpen has been good, and the Rockies bullpen has been the worst in the league. Kelly McKinnon says, I see a ton of runs. Know the number is high. Still taking the over 11.5. Londo says Block is going to get smashed. And TJ moved big on the Cubs first 5 minus a half at about 9:30 a.m. this morning. Londo on the Cubs money line. There's Joey Griffin in the house. Slow Jams Arsenault is on the Cubs money line. Says they need this one. Cheshire Cat. No, what do you mean does Jimmy Hammond? What are you talking about, man? You've been in the game with us for a long time, man. It's great to see you here. Take it away for us here, C-Mac, Cubbies, Rockies.
Let's get to it. You mentioned it. There's been just 3 starts, really, for Ty, and the one against the Padres, the Yankees, and that last one with Gallen, where he's been really, really good. Other than that, he's got hit around. You mentioned Block. He's been pretty good, like you talked about, especially the first 3, 4, 5 innings. Like you mentioned, he got hit in the 6th. But I don't trust him. I mean, I've seen his stuff enough, like you mentioned, going back to his Giants days. A few of these Cubs hit him hard. This is a big game for them. They lost yesterday. I do like the Cubs. I don't love, you mentioned, it really hasn't moved, or it's gone down a little bit, the price. So there's a little Rockies here. But I would take the Cubs on the run line. If I'm not going to bet it, not a minus 120. But I think they get to Block. And I would go, full game. Because I want Block the longer, and I want the Rockies bullpen longer in this game.
Yeah,
and I think they get to him.
I agree with that. I don't trust Tyon.
I know he looked good his last start, but now here at Coors Field, I think he gives up some runs.
Talk about the extreme. You're pitching in Wrigley with the wind blowing in, real heavy, perfect pitcher situation, and now you're in the thin air of Colorado, and they have a plus 30% expectation of homers and doubles and runs overall. Let's just see if we can get a look. And I know, of course, he started his career with the Pirates, and he had a short stint with the Yankees. So, but with his time with the Pirates, you'd imagine that he's had some time at Coors Field. He's not pitched at Coors this year. Why don't we just see a quick rundown if he's done much here at Coors in 2022? He didn't pitch at Coors. I mean, we're gonna have to go back to his Pirate days. So it's been a while since this guy's pitched at Coors, and we're talking about a guy who's had 3 good starts this year. I mean, I don't know how he can be trusted.
In 2018.
Is that
I see
to 2018?
That's the only one, unless I missed one. Oh yeah, 7.
He had a great start.
Yeah, he kind of 10 hits,
game?
But
complete game.
2 runs, 1 walk, 3 Ks.
Wow, if we're gonna do this, if we're gonna do this, let's just see exactly when he threw there. If we're gonna go this far in 28, because if that's a April start, I mean, who cares? That start 2018 at Colorado was August 7th. Okay, so he's handled it really well before. I guess that should give some confidence to anybody who wants to be involved.
Yeah, one start though, 5 years ago. So yeah, not a ton. I think props, Jimmy. I didn't bet any, and they're not a ton of great prices. Like Swanson's home runs okay, but Bellinger, Swanson, Happ, and even Suzuki. He's been heating up lately. Went 3 for 4 with a homer yesterday. I think he's in the 3-hole today. And on the flip side, I think you could look at a couple Rockies. Ryan McMahon has been money for me lately. Charlie Blackmon, even Chris Bryant's back. But I think you could look at some props if you want action here.
Billy Friedrich going back to the Rockies. Well, and as we heard from Londo and TJ, they're both on the Cubs, but TJ is on the Cubs first 5 minus a half. And then, TJ. And then we have Londo and others on the Cubs. Kelly McInnes on them on the over 11 and a half. So Londo Cubs, and let's just do Kelly McInnes, and then we can move from there. So I hate being on the fence. But I'm not really on the fence. I don't want to be involved in these first 2 games, and that's. I know we do want action and we want afternoon action, but this does not appeal to me at all here. TJ though with some important notes. Rockies dead last in weighted runs created at home versus right-handed pitching. Dead last in that park. Unbelievable. Such a pathetic offense. Saturated. No, we're not on your Cubbies, but we will be cheering for you. My man, and cheering for your squad as well. And big shout out to our guy Sharpie, now 21-7 in September. And that's, not just being hot in September. That's so much work that's gone into the season. And now your data is stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's what that is. It's all about the hard work that he puts in. Catch his show 3:10 p.m. Eastern today. All right, so let's move on. Here we go. You think I'd go through an afternoon of MLB action without any? Not a chance. I tried with that Ty Block Kyle Harrison start to be ahead of the Kyle Harrison market. And I thought I wasn't going to cash it. He allowed the 3 runs in the 3rd inning. But I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try. I expect at home, and maybe it's just too early in his career, but I think that he's capable of being an elite pitcher at home. We know he's the highest thought of left-handed prospect in the league. There's our guy Dabby Cab in the house, and Logan Allen's been great on the road all year. You put that together, and I've only made 3 bets in MLB today. I doubled up on the unders, and they were moving, and it made me a little nervous that it wasn't really moving at Pinnacle. So that made me nervous. Usually Bet365 is way behind Pinnacle. When I moved on the first 5 under 4.5 at Pinnacle was minus 115. It had already moved to 4, and the under was plus 100 at Bet365. So that did all make me nervous. But I saw that other books were moving. The 8.5 was getting juice. So I got in. So this opened at plus money at Pinnacle. The under 8.5 opened at plus 102. It moved to minus 101 when I bet it. But I could see that it was moving. And so I've doubled up on unders here in San Francisco. First 5 under 4.5, 4-game under 8.5. I know we're coming off that 3-1 game yesterday, but I don't care what happened yesterday. I don't believe that, all the unders are done, kind of a thing. 63 Fahrenheit, 5.5 miles per hour to left field, stays between 5.5 and 6.7 miles per hour. When we get to Ballpark Pal here, we have, we always go to the bottom. Like with Coors, you go to the top. With Oracle, you go to the bottom. Minus 34% home runs, minus 3% doubles and triples, minus 12% runs. Sharpie says he does not put much into Allen's home road splits as being matchup based in his eyes, as all his back-to-backs being at home the second game as well as teams like the Astros at home. I like him at home and I like him on the road. But the fact that he's only allowed 5 home runs over 56 in the third with a 239 opponent's batting average on the road just gives me more trust. I like Logan Allen. Just straight up want to bet him. Coming off a 6-3 win at the Angels, so he's been over on the West Coast for a little while, and he has, allowed 1 earned run in that 5 innings in that spot against the Angels. And again, we talked about Kyle Harrison already. Now Kyle Harrison has thrown just 11 in the third innings at home. So that's all he's thrown. He's allowed 3 earned runs. They all came in that last start. Now he's been lit up and smoked on the road, but at home in those 11 in the third, he's allowed just 1 home run. He's got 16 strikeouts and 4 walks, 16 Ks and 11 in the third with a 190 opponent's batting average. And what do we know about the Guardians? Is they just can't hit lefties. They don't hit lefties. You got Jose Ramirez. Now that Naylor's back, maybe there can be some type of difference, but they're hitting 200 with a 578 OPS versus lefties. And that's over 6 weeks. That's since August 1st. And then look at the Giants versus righties. 228, 662 OPS. Londo says he missed the 8.5, and that starts making me extremely excited. I did not know that had happened here. So let's move over to this full game total. Jesus! It is at 7.5 at Pinnacle. Good God.
Yeah, they're 7.5.
Look at it at 8:45. This didn't move to -107 until 8:47. Wow. Wow. Look at that. Now, that doesn't mean much. Honestly, I've beaten these market moves this year on unders, and it's not helped. We have 4s here now at Pinnacle. So this was a 4.5 until that same time. It moved to 8:46 a.m. to 4. That first 4, under 4 was plus 105. Wow. Okay, that makes me feel much, much better about the spot. Let's take a look at I didn't look at the money line for you guys who are thinking about making money line moves. So let me just move over there on the money line for this spot. Oh, that's the first 5. Excuse me. Full game money line. We have -138 for the Giants. They opened up at -125. That's a big line move towards them. 13 cents of movement towards the San Francisco Giants. When we get over to the cash flow, we have 62% of tickets and 48% of cash on the under. And then for the money line, you have 49% of tickets, 74% cash on the Giants, and the line moving towards the Giants. TJ says, if I am holding an 8.5, he's 100% middling at 7.5. He says, I don't have it, but great odds on your money to end at a common number of 8. Interesting. And if we go to Bet365 right now, I mean, I could move at Pinnacle, obviously, but Bet365 still has the 8, and it's not even that juiced. -115 to the under, so I'd have to move again at Pinnacle. Jeffrey Moore agreeing with TJ's look for the middle. Now, quickly, we talked about the Giants versus righties, 228, 662. The bullpens are both good right now. Just good, or maybe mediocre. Giants bullpen 3.95 ERA and Giants bullpen 4.23 ERA. Guardians 3.95, Giants 4.23. I'm going to make some mistakes when I'm reading out stats today, and someone just mentioned it.
Lefty.
Because I haven't slept much, and so I'm going to be making some mistakes. So take it away, though, C-Mac. Guardians, Giants.
Hey, well, your mistake. They don't hit righties, like you said. They don't hit lefties either. The Giants.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's what you meant with Logan Allen.
Yeah.
I like him as well. He's just been pretty consistent at home and on the road. He has got roughed up a little bit, and they've kind of been in spurts throughout the year. He's had a couple back-to-back starts, and he's come back good here. I didn't get the 8.5. If I can find under -115, I like this under as well in this game. I like Harrison. I think he's going to have some growing pains, as already showed, but I think he can pitch well here. There's a couple props I wanted to touch on. If you have a lefty, I cashed Friday with both these guys, though. Not a ton of runs I don't want in this game, but Flores, the 2 guys, 3 and 4, look for their total bases or their home runs. They just hit lefties and hit them well, so look that way. But I'll go with the under. If we can find an under -115 here on the full game 8, I want to get on it as well.
Yeah, that's right here, under 8. I don't need to. I'll just move it here just for a second, just to make sure that it is a fresh. Well, yeah, under 8 -115 here. Let's see if we can beat that anywhere. Let me just move this over here and get the total up. But yeah, I'll just quickly just see if I can beat that. Also, with Penny here, I still got this. They're oh wow, they're 8s minus 126. Good God. Bet 365 lazy on this one here. So let me just see if anyone else can do that for us on the total. CMAC making it official here. And no, that is the God. It's so rare that Bet365
That is the best.
would offer the best line. Oh no, Will Hill has it too.
There's a few here. Yeah, my look. Superbook has it. Well, yeah.
Okay. So I've got the first 5 under and full game under, and then CMAC here is on the full game under 8 at minus 115. Gifted Cartel says Guardians hitters haven't backed any of their pitchers. Nobody but Josh Naylor, who homered and doubled in the Monday loss, while the team has gone just 3 for 19 with runners in scoring position. Mally Mal says Guardians is ugly baseball. TJ says it's at Circa and the Superbook. And our guy Sharpie says just bet Jose Ramirez over 1.5 bases. He has a homer in 5 straight games versus a lefty starter. All right, so I do have afternoon action. I just have to wait 4 hours from now to get involved. Let's move on. 4:10 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Angels 68 and 78, 33 and 41 on the road at the Seattle Mariners, 80 and 65, 40 and 30 at home. We're at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. Let's go right to the line history here for the weather here at T-Mobile. 63 Fahrenheit, 5.7 miles per hour left to right, and very slightly in between 5.7 and 6.6 miles per hour. 0% in homers, but minus 13% in doubles and triples, and minus 8% in home runs. Let me just make sure that it's warm enough in Seattle. Oh, it certainly is. That roof will be open for sure. Lucas Ryan says Jose Ramirez. He prefers Jose Ramon Bouquet. We did find out Jose's middle name. I'm shocked that it had never come up before. And it's a strong, erotic middle name. Ramon. Chase Silseth going up against Luis Castillo. Is it Silseth? Do we even know yet? Let's go over to RotoWire and see if it is even Silseth. They have Silseth listed. Do you think it's going to be Silseth, C-Mac?
Maybe, but I just still have Silseth, in the few spots you mentioned, RotoWire, but a ton of undecided.
So he hasn't pitched since the 26th. He got hit in the back of the head by his friendly fire, cross infield throw, back of the head. He was cleared of a concussion. So, but they still placed him on the 7-day concussion IL in this one. Sharpie says he's not talking Castillo today, but they're begging for the over on his K prop. Be careful, as they jumped up Gilbert and Woo's Ks versus Angels, yet put Castillo at a one-way open arms bet. Wow, interesting. Moustakis RBI for our guy Mikey M. So if it is Silseth, he's been pretty good this year. He's been pretty good. And on the road, he's been, only 23 and 2/3 sample size, but he's been pretty good. LJ from H-Town says Seattle 17-4 last 21 first 5 overs. Castillo, whom Sharpie's talking about, is coming off that spectacular start at the Rays. You'll remember that was TJ's gift. The spot at the Rays was his gift, and he was coming off a bad start, and we all jumped on with them, and we went over all the starts that he'd been lit up and how he'd come back and shoved each and every time, and he did that again. So now he's had one really good start in a row, and at home he's got a 2.48 ERA and a 180 opponent's batting average, and the Angels are hitting just 221 with a 663 OPS versus righties. So Angels bullpen 6.17 ERA, Mariners bullpen 3.39 ERA. That's all since August 1st, and the Mariners are smashing righties, 262, 817 OPS. So let's take a look at the line history here for this one. These totals and lines have just come out because we don't know if it is Silseth. There are 7.5s on the full game total, but Pinnacle has the 8. And then from a money line perspective here, Pinnacle is at minus 320. Minus 320 for the Mariners. My bookie at minus 333. My goodness. Take it away for us here, C-Mac. Angels, Mariners. And I know we don't have a ton of information, so no pressure to hammer it too hard.
What the Castillo, April 4th, he had a good start. versus the Angels, but 2 bad ones. But those were both on the road. He gave up 7 and 5, 3 earned. Before he gave up the 5 runs at the bounce back start you just mentioned, he put a couple, but it had been kind of difficult for him to put back-to-back starts. And you could take this one. It was against the White Sox and the what was it, Royals, the 2 there. So 2 bad teams. Big number. Mariners have been playing good baseball. It's tough with the pitcher here with the Angels. If I had a free bet, I'd take them first 5. They've had some success off Castillo. I know he's at home. He might deliver, but I think value-wise, taking them first 5 would be the look. Or maybe a half a run if you don't want to get the push.
Yeah.
Even how bad the Angels are and they're just tanking, basically, Mariners playing good ball. This number's too huge here. 335? No.
Well, let's ask Jose if this is a +1.5 spot that he wants against the -300 favorite. So let's see if Jose can jump on with us, because this would kind of fit his MO for these -300 spots but we don't have the market movement here really. Jose, talk to us. Is this a spot that piques your interest on the +1.5 for the Angels?
It does, and I'm working on this layout right now, so give me a second. But yeah, it does. I am interested in it. It has been cashing, obviously, the +1.5. The Earl brothers will continue to call me pussies for not betting the money lines. They might be right about that, but they've just been cashing at a tremendous rate, and I'll probably be on it again here. And you've heard me slander Luis Castillo this year as well. I mean, I think he's, not a guy that I particularly trust in betting. We betted him last time successfully. Good job by us. But he, like you mentioned, he had his good start, and now I kind of expect him to have that bad start again. So, I'll probably be on the +1.5 here for the Angels. And plus, I mean, I've been betting the +1.5 with the A's against the Astros. If I'm comfortable doing that, then the Angels seem a lot easier mentally, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. These have been working with you, and it correlates with the way C-Mac broke down the game. I get it. I'm not. I would like Chase Silseth if you guys are going to move on that spot, but I like Silseth. I think he's got some potential. Okay, so so is that? But that's not an official look yet. You're waiting for all. Do you want to see the market?
Yeah, I just need to see lines. I haven't had a line on this all day, so I don't even know who's pitching. Like we said, I don't know who's pitching. If Chase Silseth goes, great, but it really doesn't matter right around now. But I just need to see who's pitching, basically.
All right, respect. And big shout out to our guy, Chris the Hood, says heading into surgery right now, just dropped in. Let's all just take a second and send Chris the Hood as much positive healing energy. We don't know what's going on with your surgery right now, but we are thinking of you and sending positivity your way. Let's get this, make it successful and get you home and rested up in capping sports. So thinking of you, Chris the Hood, and thank you for taking a second to drop in with us. And we are thinking of you, Chris, my man. All right. Well, let's keep Jose here because our everyday bet is here right now. St. Louis Cardinals at the Baltimore Orioles, Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Now, in Drew Rom's last start, a 9-4 win at the Reds. That was for my money, Jose, that was your most impressive day of the season. The A's first 5 +0.5, first 5 money line, full game +1.5. And you took the Cards with Drew Rom up against who is the fire? God, I can't think right. Who's the young lefty that you faded on the Reds that day?
Oh, was it Abbott?
Abbott, thank you. That was spectacular work. Absolutely spectacular work. And here's Drew Rom again. Not only am I betting the Orioles today, and I could have got a couple cents cheaper if I put it on Pinnacle, but I sent it in. I just didn't want the pressure on my Pinnacle account. But And
Sure.
Baltimore's been very good to the pinnacle account, though. It's kept it alive. But we also have our guy, Ron Crawford, on this spot as well. Ron Crawford, spreadsheet play today is the Orioles -1 at -124. I didn't get much. I got -123. I got the -170 money line and then the +120 run line. And I bet that last night around midnight. Shout out to Ron Crawford. Spreadsheet play today is in, and it is the Baltimore Orioles. Sanderson in the house. Remo said it's like Von Polo in the chat while his wife was giving birth. Yeah, Von Polo, a real one, man. And same with our guy Chris the Hood, man. Thinking of you, Chris. Okay, so let's roll. Cardinals, Orioles, Camden Yards, Baltimore, Maryland. We'll start with the weather here in Charm City, home of the aforementioned Von Polo. 79 Fahrenheit, 5.7 miles per hour, left to right, slightly in. Stays between 5.7 and 5.1 miles per hour. Let's see what their expectations of Oriole Park are. -11% home runs, but +14% doubles and triples, +7% runs. Let's get over to the line history here for the spot. Let's bring them both up here. So on the money line, full game money line, we are sitting at the same -170 that I moved on to that. So this has only moved 4 cents towards Baltimore. And yes, if we weren't just blind betting the Orioles every day, maybe you wouldn't want them here with no movement towards them. This total is dropping. It's dropping. This opened up at 10.5, and it moved to 10 at 8:54 in the morning. Then 2 minutes later, it moved to 9.5. It jumped back up to 10 for a while, but it's back at 9.5. So we've had a big move to the under and really no move on the – I'll pull this up here. Really no move on the side. From a cash flow perspective on this one, we have 90% of the tickets and 93% of the cash on the Orioles. Obviously, if you're going to move on a team that's that big of a favorite, you would want the market moving their direction, but it's not happening here. 42% of the tickets and 85% of cash on the under. Seems like sharp action on the under. Big shout out to our guy, Razor Sharp Picks, dropping his full Delaware card. That takes so much work. Thank you, Razor, for doing that. Have a giant monster day today.
Yeah.
All right. So TJ says, Jose and I backed Rom last start when the market demanded to play on St. Louis. We cashed. Not today, though. He is off. Let's talk about Rom in that start. He went through 3 2/3 and allowed 4 runs. He was part of the Flaherty trade, not a highly thought of prospect in the Orioles organization. And on the road this year, he's been destroyed. 12 2/3, 20 hits. 12 earned runs, 10 Ks, 7 walks, 4 home runs, 351 opponent's batting average. Much love, TJ. I will share your gift play of the day, and thank you for sharing it with us, my man, and have yourself a big day. DC Capper looking at Baltimore on the run line at +115. Kyle Gibson did us well backing him against the Angels when he was coming off that horrific start. He had a quality start, 6 innings, 3 earned runs. And at home this year, he's been bad. 5.69 ERA, 287 opponents batting average, but he's eaten up innings. And Cards versus righties since August 1st, 249, 751. Orioles versus lefties since August 1st, 287, 827 OPS. Orioles bullpen much better than the Cards bullpen here. DC Capper getting right in the face of that market move towards the under and betting the over. Take it away for us here, C-Mac. Cardinals, Orioles.
Right now, it's just hard to take an under with these two pitchers. I think Rom's going to give it up. Even in that last start, he kind of just got out there. He gave up a couple home runs. Would he go 3 2/3 against the Reds? Mm-hmm. And he gave up 4. Gibson, though, I think he could get hit a little bit. Total's 10. I lean over. Cardinals won yesterday. One thing with the Orioles is they lose, you just come right back with them. There's not been a ton. There's only been a couple times. Have they lost 3 in a row? Has that even happened? No? Has it?
Sorry. Sorry, there's somebody.
Just both in outer space.
I was looking at Cheshire. Sorry, I was looking at Cheshire Cat versus Cheshire Cat right now.
That's one rule that we have. You can't imitate somebody else. here. You can't do that. That was a rule that we have rules set up by our leader, Peter Loshak. And sorry, C-Mac, it took me a second to understand what the hell was going on there.
Yeah, what's going on with Cheshire Cat here?
Sorry. But we can't have that. We can't have, we have very small, very limited rules in the chat. That is one of them. Sorry, C-Mac, can you hit us with that question again?
I don't think the Orioles have lost 3 in a row, have they?
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, not in a long time.
Not since we started betting them every day.
Yeah. I know they lost yesterday.
But
it's the end of the year, so you think. But they just keep hitting. I think they get runs here. You'd have to go with the team total the first 5, 3.5. But I'm looking at the run line. Obviously, they're the home team, but I think they get there. Or the 5. I don't do a ton of 5.5s. It's plus 110, 115. I think you look that way here with the O's. Those are nothing for me.
Yeah, this is they were very, very fortunate that the Rays didn't win. Very, very fortunate. But yeah, I mean, the Orioles have now lost 2 of 3. But for us that bet them every day, cashing that plus 130 and that 13-12 win against the Red Sox was a big help to all of this. So, and Joe Yerger says July 1st was when they lost their 4th in a row. That one dude says, What was TJ's gift play? It's coming. It will be here soon. It's not arrived yet. So let's hear what Jose has to say about this spot. Take it away, Jose. Cardinals, Orioles.
Well, obviously, I'm on the Orioles -1, -128, I think I got. So, juice, whatever. But Rebenga is concerning, obviously. Rom facing his former organization is a little bit of a worry, but we're on it. We ride with the Orioles. Yesterday was one of those rare Orioles-Cubs both lose day as well, so that hurt the record a bit. But I'm on it. We're continue to be on it. I also enjoy that the Rays are like, an arm's length away from the Orioles. That kind of makes them have to continue to play at a high level. So we continue to bet it.
Yeah, no, I agree. That helps. It helps. Like this is that helps so much. I mean, we're in the dog days of August, and this is a must-win game for the Orioles, who've lost 2 of 3, and that really helps us betting them every day. I agree. Oh, all good that one, dude. Always ask. No problem. So, so here we go. Did you want to make anything official? I'm on the C-Mac. I'm on the -1. Ron Crawford's on the -1. Jose's on the -1. Do you also want to be involved with this spot, C-Mac?
I will. I just don't know if I want to take this team total or the run line.
Okay, so I'm just going to put this here, and so C-Mac is deciding between the Orioles -1.5 or the Orioles team total over. Okay, cool. We will come.
Shout out to Cheshire Cat, by the way. Shout out to Cheshire Cat for being now a part of the members club. Now, so shout out to good old Cheshire Cat, the only Cheshire Cat now officially has laid claim. But there you go.
Okay.
Never a dull moment with our guy Cheshire Cat in here.
And Jose, you're not completely synced with your audio here, so maybe you want to go in and out or something, because I know you're going to be coming back in action with us. So let's roll on. Next up for us, 6:35 p.m. Eastern, we have the Washington Nationals 65-80, 34-37 on the road at the Pittsburgh Pirates, 67-78, 35-38 at home at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we have the MLB debut of Jackson Rutledge, which is going to be a lot of fun. So let's take a look at the weather here for this one. We have 72 Fahrenheit, 5.8 miles per hour to right center, stays between 5.8 and 7 miles per hour. Let's move over to Ballpark Pals expectations of PNC -8% home runs, plus 19% doubles and triples, and plus 5% overall runs. There's Levi Kressler in the house, says, life's been crazy. I'm playing Mr. Mom this week in between changing diapers. I'm cashing with you the next 3 days. Respect, Levi. Man, I've been there. And much respect to you, my friend. And it gives you time to cap, So let's do that. This total opened up at 8.5, and it moved to it didn't. It opened up at 9 and has moved to 9.5. So we have a move to the over. Let's take a look at the money line here for this one. This money line for Rutledge in his MLB debut. He has gone, and the Nats have gone from plus 116 to plus 122. So a small move towards the Pirates and a move to the over. We take a look at the cash flow then for this spot. We have on the total 30% of the tickets and 52% of cash on the under. And on the money line, 45% of the tickets and 91% of the cash fading Jackson Rutledge. So let's take a deeper dive into Jackson Rutledge here. First round pick in the 2019 draft out of Houston, Texas. And he is 24 years old today. And you're going to see, we have a couple of these guys today that we're going to be talking about who, started the year in AA and looked very good, went up to AAA and got hit. And that's what happened to Rutledge. He had 12 starts in AA. He was 6-1 with a 3.16 ERA, a 1.10 whip. He looked very good. He allowed 5 home runs in those 68 innings. Then he went up to AAA and he got hit 2-3, 4.44 ERA. I also, Ragu and other cappers talk about how at the end of the year, when they bring up these guys to start, it's not nearly, it's almost a fade situation rather than, earlier in the year when they really believe in the young pitcher and they're deciding whether they want him in the rotation. This is just a preview of, do they want him next year? Are they interested in him? Going up against Colin Selby, so it's a bullpen day. Selby is a bullpen. He's a middling prospect who will be part of the bullpen. I don't remember seeing a primary for this one here for Pittsburgh. Do we have a primary? Yes, Quinn Priester. Okay, I got it. Sorry, I have the other primary spot.
Is he back? I know they sent him down. Did they just bring him right back up?
I guess so. I mean, listed as the primary here. So
no, I think it'll be the primary. I think you're right. I was reading it wrong.
Looks like it here with Priester. So I'll bring up Priester's stats, but Nats versus righties, 245, 708 OPS since August 1st. Pirates, similar numbers. Pirates bullpen slightly better than the Nats bullpen. Any interest in this spot here, a high volatility spot?
It is. I'm looking, if I were to be on it, the over, especially if I know Priester's going to be in there for maybe 4 innings, because I think the Nats can get to him. I mean, he's been pretty awful. When he's been in, he's gone 4 or 5 and just given up 4 or 5. Just seems about every start. He gave up 6 his last start. And both guys, Rutledge doesn't have crazy strikeout stuff. I think he gets hit in this one. I lean the Nats, though. I just think 2 bad teams. I'd have to lean them right here, get plus 120. And I think their runs. I also looked, if Priester's in, I think, you could look at both teams' team total. If the Nats, I see a 4.5, it's even money. I'm interested in that. So I might get on this game. I want to make sure maybe these pitchers, will be in or Priester. So right now I'm off.
Yeah, it seems like a ton of question marks around this game. I mean, you're making a bet. You want to have a game script and an angle that you believe in. You don't want your voice to break while you're talking about it. In Indianapolis this year, he's been, pretty good. This is a first round draft pick as well, but 9-4, 4 ERA, 1.33 WHIP, and then he comes up to the show and in 6 starts he gets hammered. I mean, this is a guy who's allowed 6 home runs in 108 innings in AAA. In the majors, he's allowed 7 home runs in 28 2/3.
Why there should be runs too. Rutledge, if he can't walk people like he does down there in the bigs, he'll just, because he doesn't have the stuff. He doesn't just have that stuff, and he's walking at least 2. It seems like every one of his starts. I have to go back to it here. Here, there's one against July 14th. He had 1, but it's consistently 3, 4, 4, 6, 2, 2, 3. Not good.
Yeah, not good. This has just got volatility all over. I mean,
yeah, flip it.
Yeah, I so I can understand backing the dog. I can understand backing the over. I could also understand if Selby gets out of the first inning and maybe Rutledge gets touched a little bit with nerves early, and then you see Priester coming in, to live bet the Nats if they're losing.
Yeah.
I can see all those angles. Sharpie says we get in Priester. Give me the strikeouts under, please. And then no props as of now on Priester, so we'll have to wait. Yes, saturated, my man. Of course you can. Okay, so let's just move past that. We're gonna get into Braves Phillies, but let's do the review for our guy saturated. The ass eater play of the day: Oryx Buffaloes. Ass eater play of the day: Oryx Buffaloes. And Sean Childress gave us the Columbus Clippers in AAA. Londo's on the over 8.5 in Tampa Bay, Minnesota. Mally Mal's on the Twins first 5 at plus money. Billy Friedrich's on the first 5 over in the full game over in Tampa Bay, Minnesota. Slatsy is on the Twins team total over. And C-Mac and I stayed off the spot. And legitimately, if my bankroll was smoking right now and I was, up, if it was just like last year, I would bet the first 5 under here. I think the market's indicating that Keuchel will continue pitching well at home and that Taj Bradley can be okay for a few innings. I'm not going to do that. Yes, Reclaim James, the ass eater is yours. That's yours. I was not trying to. I was not saying this is my ass eater play of the day.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It's yours.
You can keep that one, my man.
TJ, it's not the gift, but TJ's on the Cubs first 5 -0.5. Londo's on the Cubs. Kelly McInnes on the over 11.5. Billy Friedrich's on the Rockies first 5 full game. And that's another spot where we stayed away. Where we hammered was the first 5 under and full game under. I'm on in Cleveland, San Francisco. It's to beat a total by a run. You'd think you would have got in the night before. I literally bet this at 8 in the morning. So I'm surprised that I got there.
I really want the hook, but I'll take the 8. Yeah, that was great work.
I don't mind the 8 either. It's not heavily juiced, and we've seen. I don't mind. I'll take an 8 all day at -115 when I see Pinnacle at 7.5. So I like it. So C-Mac's also on that full game under here. Also, Razor Sharp Picks gave us his full Delaware card for anyone who missed it. Here, I'm gonna pop it in the chat, and thank you to Razor for sharing all that hard work with us. And then Angels Mariners, we stayed off. C-Mac is deciding between the Orioles on the run line or the team total over. Ron Crawford's on the Orioles -1. Jose and I are also on that. So there you go. There's the recap. Let's move on. 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Atlanta Braves 95-50, 48-25 on the road at the Philadelphia Phillies 79-66, 43-30 at home. Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Let's get over to the weather in Philly, and we have 78 Fahrenheit, 4.7 miles per hour left to right, and then it becomes in. After an hour of play, it starts blowing in. We go over to a ballpark pal for Philly. They have Citizens Bank Park plus 13% home runs, plus 2% doubles and triples, plus 6% overall runs. Gifted Cartel says Strider 6-0 with a 1.62 ERA in 6 career games, 5 starts against the Phillies. Sanchez has 1 appearance against the Braves with 2 scoreless innings. Gifted Cartel is on the Nerfy. Darren Turner is on the Braves money line, and Levi Kressler joined us on the O's. And the taint play of the day is in. A lot of people believing that the Blue Jays are going to show heart.
Yikes.
Not get stomped by these Rangers. The taint play of the day is in. It is the Blue Jays. We had Wine Time on the Blue Jays and Londo also on the Blue Jays. We will discuss that here shortly. Thank you for sharing that with us, Maddie, my man. So Citizens Bank Park, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at the line history here for this. We'll start with the money line, and we have Strider in the Braves sitting at -156. They opened up -170, so 14 cents of movement towards these Philadelphia Phillies. Then let's get into the total here for this one. It's sitting at 9.5, juice to the other under. Excuse me. There are 9s on the board, but this total also opened up at 8.5, juice to the over at 5 p.m. 8. So 15.5 hours later, it moves to 9, and it's plus money to the over. And then they've just moved it to 9.5. So all the other books hanging 9s. This is a 9.5 here. Saturated is right. Control Your Vessel says great comeback by Philly last night. I was saying about all the people in the chat holding tickets, but I mean, they didn't get to the finish line. Strider has owned these Phillies, says Sharpie. 5 starts, going 6 or more innings every game with a total of 6 earned runs, 24 2/3. Mikey M looking at Harper RBI. Let's get that copied and pasted here. Harper RBI for Mikey. And then Levi Kressler took the Braves at -140. There's Deacon Mike in the house. So Spencer Strider coming off 2 2/3 at home, where he got lit up for 6 earned runs against the Cardinals. On the road, he's got a 3.33 ERA, 212 opponents batting average. He's been very good all year. 115 strikeouts in 81 innings with just 31 walks. Then you have Christopher Sanchez coming off the 3-2 loss at home versus the Marlins, but he had 5 innings and didn't allow a run. He hadn't been very good at home. Now he's got consecutive home starts. It doesn't really make sense for him to struggle like this at home. The Braves are destroying lefties. 295, 908 OPS since August 1st, while the Phillies are 277, 882 versus righties. Both bullpens have been very good, but these lineups are extremely dangerous. And then when we get to the cash flow, it's a 50-50 spot. We have a market move towards the Phillies of 14 cents, but 51% of the tickets, 48% cash on the Phillies. And from a total perspective, we have 60% of the tickets and 71% cash on that over. Take it away for us here. Interesting one. Braves, Phillies, C-Mac. Let's roll.
Real quick on the total, it's just, can the Phillies hit Strider? He's dominated them. You mentioned, who put that in the chat? Gifted Cartel, the 6-1.
Yeah, and
yeah, the average. Yeah, they're only in $1.75 off him, and he's coming off 2 starts. Strikeouts are there, but Dodgers put up 4, and I think it was the Cardinals got 6. So it seems like he's about to bounce back against the perfect team. If I knew that if they could get to him, I lean over on the total. Both these teams are just swinging the bat so well. I'd look that way. And you could have to look at props. Ronald Acuna, Harper, both of them both hit home runs. I go right back to them here. I think they can get it done if you're looking for props. And it's tough with the Braves. I think they hit Sanchez. We all know what they do to lefties in this one. I just have a bet on it. I just Strider here. I obviously have to take a run line. I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
Well, I think this was not a plan at this point. And we also see this market move towards the Phillies, which I think we can explain a little bit. But we've had great success backing elite pitchers after a bad start. It's been that all year. And we know that the Braves mean business when they play the Phillies after being knocked out last year by them. And we know the Braves are hitting 295, 908 OPS versus lefties. I mean, the Phillies are no slouch versus righties, but does this not kind of, when we talk it out, feel like the Strider bounce back spot, against the rival that he shuts down? And if that is the case, then why wouldn't we want, if we believe Strider will bounce back here against a team that he shuts down, why wouldn't we want the Braves first 5 -1/2 here? This was not part of my plan until we've started sitting with this game. I didn't come in thinking this. But why wouldn't we want them first 5 -1/2? There's an 18-cent difference right now at Pinnacle on the first 5 than the full game. 18 cents difference. It's 18 cents more expensive to take the Braves first 5. And the -1/2 at -123. I mean, that's a pretty legitimate spot here. TNT saying Strider's not perfect. No, we've seen him get touched, but it just feels like that bounce back spot.
It does. And it basically, you got to pay the juice for it. Here they're basically saying, especially first 5, you want to take them -1/2, it's -120. The full game, it's about even money, +105.
I think these are I know that the Braves are a spectacular baseball team, but They're sort of evenly matched. It's an evenly matched. I mean, the Phillies play up to the level of their competition and play down.
Yeah, they're at home. They got shit to play for here.
Yeah.
But it would be Braves. I mean, I'm not sure if I bet it, but it's tough. As much as I would want a dog and the Phillies could win this, it's just a Strider. He bounced back. The last time he had a couple bad starts. White Sox and the D-backs got to him in, what was that, July, and he came back and had 3 or 4 really good starts, and then got hit again at Pittsburgh. Then he had 4 great starts, and then he gives up 4 to the Dodgers and only goes 2 2/3 and gives up 6 to the Cards. Perfect team. He's got to be feeling good. He's just owned their ass.
And Joe Yurkovich has the exact opposite going on with Sanchez. Last time Sanchez allowed 0 runs, he followed it up allowing. I'm in. I'm done. I'm in. I'm gonna. This is the kind of spot that I like a lot. It's been working. We worked it with Castillo on Friday. Strider and the Braves. So I'm on the Braves first 5 -0.5. And Sharpie drops the most legitimate issue here. And Sharpie's concerned Strider passes innings pitched and limit, or not limit, but the most innings he's ever pitched. And that's a concern.
Yep.
That's a concern. But I like him. I like him on the road being all business after getting lit up against a team he knows he can shut down in an important series. I like everything about it here. So Mike M says Strider 11-0 straight up, 10-1 on the run line as a favorite off a loss in his last start.
Where I go is I think about the Braves just -1 first half. And I'd take the push.
Would that turn into a plus?
Yeah, it's got to.
The Braves -1 is a plus 109.
First 5.
Yeah,
I'm going to look at that more. I might be on it.
Cool. So I'm going to put that note there. I'm moving on it. I'm moving on the Braves first 5 and C-Mac Braves first 5 minus a question mark there. Okay, great. Well, that was fun. That's a nice addition to the card that I didn't think I would have, and that makes the night more enjoyable. All right, let's move on. Next up for us, 6:40 p.m. Eastern, we have Cincinnati Reds 75, 71, 39, 32 on the road at the Detroit Tigers 66 and 78, 31 and 42 at home. We're at Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. My friend up here is a huge Lions fan, season ticket holder, and heading down to the home opener, and he's like so pumped up, and I'm just getting this. I got to get to Detroit. I am. My birthday's next month. I'm spending my birthday in Buffalo, which is not as nice as. I don't like the city as much as Detroit. I fucking love Detroit. Comerica Park. I love Comerica Park. I love Green Dot Stables. Go get some alligator sliders, some kangaroo sliders. Jesus, get a mint julep. It used to be a horse racing company that owned it, so it's all horse racing TV, like all live horse racing. And then you order a mint julep and eat some alligator. Come on.
Like some gator.
Fucking alligator and some
Detroit
julep. It's fucking magic. Okay, let's talk about the weather here in Detroit. We have, move over here. 65 Fahrenheit, 5.9 miles per hour out to left center, between 5.9 and 4.2. Matty I says Slows. Slows is spectacular. Like Slows is the best, that's the best barbecue joint within 5 hours of Toronto. I would bet this Slows in Detroit, but I like a little more for me. I like the fucking Green Dot Stables because I love the horses. Okay, so let's take a look at Ballpark Pal's expectation here. Move this over here. Ballpark Pal has Comerica at minus 15% home runs, minus 15% home runs, and plus 5% runs. Minus 15% home runs, plus 5% runs. And Mike M, we're gonna go to Dinosaur Barbecue when we're down there. Dinosaur Barbecue is very good. It's good, but Slows could be the best barbecue place. I mean, it's better than any place in Toronto. And maybe Dinosaur Barbecue is better in the peanut butter pie Dinosaur Barbecue, but Slows is next level. Like Slows is, it's I'm saying it's like Dinosaur Barbecue is very good. Slows is beyond comprehension. Kangaroo sliders, yes, gas report. Kangaroo sliders over there. Okay, but let's stay focused here. Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. We have 22-year-old Connor Phillips with his first career start on September 5th. And it was a 7-6 win at home versus the Mariners. 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 7 Ks, 2 walks, 7-6 win at home. And he is a young fireballer, Connor Phillips, second round pick by the Mariners. So I don't have it in front of me, but I imagine he was a part of the Luis Castillo trade. But I'm just guessing at this point. He is another guy who in AA Chattanooga this year was dominant. 2-2, 3.34 ER. No, not dominant, but very good. Listen to this. In Chattanooga and AA this year, he had 111 strikeouts and 64 2/3. Then he went up to AAA and he just couldn't do the same things. He had 4.69 ERA, a 1.56 WHIP. He only had 43 strikeouts and 40 1/3. So it's a lot tougher up here. Going up against Eduardo Rodriguez, coming off that quality start at Yankee Stadium in a 10-3 win, being very good at home this year, 3.23 ERA, 222 opponents batting average. Reds versus lefties, 240, 721 OPS. Tigers versus righties, 249, 717 OPS. That Reds bullpen, 4.06 ERA since August 1st, while the Tigers bullpen, 4.62 ERA. Reclaim James says, "Bring your ass to Tennessee. I'll show you barbecue." Oh, I know that barbecue gets better the further south you go. That's I feel that, man. I believe that fully. So let's pull this up. Tigers in the line history here for this spot. Let's move over to a single. There we go. Okay. Lost C-Mac, but I'm sure he'll be back here in a second. Let's take a look at the money line for these Detroit Tigers and Eduardo Rodriguez. It's strange that this would move the way it has. The Tigers opening up minus 139. They're now minus 127. It's very, very strange to me. I would not have expected a 12-cent move to Connor Phillips here after what we've seen from him. From a total side of things, and also, these young kids on Detroit have probably seen him. This total has moved to 8 from 8.5. So they're saying that Connor Phillips is going to have a good start. If this wasn't an indication from the marketplace, I would be on the Tigers, but I'm not going to with this idea. 56% of tickets, 59% cash on the under. And on the money line, we have 46% of tickets and 66% of cash on the Reds. So sharp money on the Reds, and I'm going to have to stay off of it. Johnny K says that he likes the Reds in this spot. Eaton Wheaties says he doesn't want to lay juice with the Tigers. I get all that. Philly Eagle Flyers on the Tigers first 5 money line and minus a half lean. First 5 money line and minus half, and he's leaning towards the first 2 innings draw, which is a spot that he makes a ton of cash with. A gifted cartel on the Nerfy. And I guess I'm going to have to stay off of it. I'm going to stay off of this spot here. The stacks play of the day is the Tigers team total over 4.5. That's at plus money for stacks. Okay, so we're going to move on. We're going to move on here. We'll ask C-Mac if he liked that Reds-Tigers spot. But let's move on to Texas Rangers at Toronto Blue Jays. Because while we get to Texas Rangers at Toronto Blue Jays, we have a lot of our friends' action on it. We have Wine Time on the Blue Jays. We have Londo on the Blue Jays. And who else do we have on the Blue Jays? Is this man right here. Wow, the pimp slap play of the day is what I thought I would have bet. I thought I would be on the Tigers first 5 minus a half. So pimp slap is in. C-Mac back in business with us. We're about to talk Blue Jays, but Jose, why don't we go back to the Tigers Reds marquee for a second? Did you have a move on this spot?
I want to look at the Tigers here. I kind of like their team total. I don't trust Connor Phillips. Now you gotta trust the Tiger Bats, which have been a little bit better of late. But I was looking at their first 5 team total or even full game. They got to get to 5, but their team total is right around plus 115, I see here. So this is one I wanted to go through. You mentioned Connor Phillips. I don't know if he's ready here, and he got hit by Seattle September 5th. He gave up 5. And he could be all right, but I think it's similar. I think he at least gives up a few. So I'm looking at their team total here.
And that's the Stacks play of the day. And then we just heard the Pimp Slot play
Oh,
of the
it
day is on the Tigers' first 5 as well. So
Okay.
that all makes me want to back. My plan coming in, looking at it last night, was I expect to be on Rodriguez here, but the market does have me a little nervous. A little nervous. Okay.
They're the Tigers. So,
Yeah. But
they're favorites.
I'm surprised about the spot here. I'm not going to move on it at this point with the market move, but certainly hearing the Pimp Slot play the days on it is appealing. All right, we heard Matty Ice is on the Blue Jays money line for the Taint play of the day. If you are looking for a team with heart, look further because this team does not have it and can't be trusted. They don't have a killer instinct. They're led by a couple of rich kids. Rangers, Blue Jays, Rogers, center, Montgomery versus Kikuchi. Let's start with the weather. I don't expect the roof to be open, but I should look at this before I say that. The 64 Fahrenheit, cloudy. I mean, it was raining on and off. Let me just do this very quickly because it's so important. I know we talk about it all the time, but actually it doesn't look like looks like a nice night. Okay, so it's clear, nice night. So the roof will be open. Gift Cartel says Blue Jays getting swept today. They couldn't sweep the Nats or the A's. And worse than that, luckily they swept the Royals late in the game. Rangers are better than all those teams. Rangers money line is the play of the day, number 2 for Gifted Cartel. Gifted Cartel, can you hit me with number 1 again? I don't. Sorry, when I lack sleep, my memory gets shot. Londo says Rangers suck and DC Cap are also on these Toronto Blue Jays. Let's move in to Ballpark Pal. So at this point, I think the roof will be open, but I can't confirm that. Plus 3% home runs, even 0% for doubles and triples, and plus 2% overall runs. Let's go over to the line history here. We have these Jays at minus 124 at Pinnacle. They opened up at minus 118, 6 cents of movement towards them. Let's get over to the total in this spot. We have it sitting at 8, very slightly just to the under. It opened up at 8.5, so expecting Kikuchi to look good here. And Gifted Cartel says Cards team total. Thank you, my man. Mally Mal in the house saying, let's move this over here. Mally Mal saying that Montgomery is up and down. All right, let's break down the pitchers and the splits here. Jordan Montgomery, 8-11, 3.62 ERA, 1.24 WHIP. He's been good this season. He's been good, trusting in St. Louis and here in Texas. His last start, though, wasn't very good. 6-3 loss at home versus the A's. When they needed him to pitch well, he could not do that. On the road this year, through both franchises, he's throwing 76 innings. He's 2-6, but he's been quite good. 3.08 ERA, 232 opponents batting average. UC Kikuchi, 3.57 ERA, 1.24 WHIP. He's been very good this year. Coming off a 5-4 win at home versus the Royals. It was a bounce back start for him. He allowed just a solo shot over 5 innings. He's been very good at home this year. 3.38 ERA, 220 opponents batting average. But the Rangers smash lefties, and so do the Jays. The Jays smash lefties even harder. 309, 867 OPS since August 1st. Very impressive. Rangers bullpen 5.05 ERA. Jays bullpen 3.66 ERA. I'm not going to put money on this Blue Jays team. I can't do it.
Yeah.
When push comes to shove in the most important spots, they wilt. And I just don't want to do it. I can't. I'll smash something. I'm so I get pretty angry when I watch this team. And I can't do it. I'll be happy to cheer you guys on. I do have the stupid 91.5 wins for the win total, which they're not very unlikely to get. They'll need to go 12-6 over these final 18 games. And they have a bunch of games here with the Rays. Crystal credit is what we need. This is I love hearing cappers who watch them every day says, I watch the Jays every day. They've done nothing in the last 2 games to make me think they can win today. Bullpen struggling a little too. JT Eel says next time you head to the Slows, hit me up right in the air. You're absolutely right. I will, JT Eel. I love Detroit. And Joe Yerver says Eovaldi Gossman tomorrow. Alfred said he made a rule, no Blue Jays a month ago, not bringing it for anything. And Londo said it's okay, Jimmy. You can live vicariously through us Blue Jay betters. Matty Ice says just play the team total over then. And Slatsy says Ella's favorite player. Yes, Kikuchi is Ella's favorite player. And take it away for us here, C-Mac. Are you going to move on the Bluebirds?
No way. I mean, for this team, both these teams to be 16 games over 500, 15 right now. They're both 80 and 64, 65. I don't think both of them are good, especially the Blue Jays. Rangers, after the horrible slide, they have, won 4 in a row. In the last couple of days against the Blue Jays, they're 4-1 against the Jays. I think the Jays lose today. Here, I'm leaning Rangers first 5, and then it'll be a must-win, really, in this 4th game with Gausman tomorrow. Both pitchers, they both rip lefties. You just got through all that. Great numbers. Both these guys have pitched great, though, and they have good numbers. Montgomery's 4-1. His career versus the Jays. Kikuchi's 3-0 versus Texas with ERA under 3, 2.89. And we see it. Totals 8. But I can't back the Jays. So I'm leaning Rangers first 5 here. If you're going to give me these two teams, I take the plus money with them.
Yeah, I get it. I completely get it. But I don't even want to watch this game.
I don't blame
you. Cash Action Bets. Look at Cash Action. We haven't seen you in so long. Nice. Cash Action Bets back in business with us. Mally Mouse says we also missing the gift. Don't worry. Don't worry. The
gift's on its way.
I promise you the gift is coming. We do need to come up with a I have an idea for the graphics for the gift, but and then Collins Clip says, I guess I've never heard why he's her favorite player. I didn't pressure that. I was just so excited that she had a favorite player that I rejoiced and celebrated it. I didn't ask her why. She is half Vietnamese, my daughter, so maybe seeing a Japanese guy on the mound, but I didn't ask her why. I was just euphoric that she cared and had a favorite baseball player, and I could buy her a jersey and a shirt, and that's all. I just wanted to love sports and love baseball, and I have no idea, but I haven't asked why. But he's been very good this year, and we've watched him pitch twice, and he's shoved both times. Okay, there's my guy Good in the house. Nice to see you back in action. Okay, let's move on. 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Diamondbacks 76-70, 38-35 on the road at New York Mets 66-78, 36-34 at home. Citi Field in Queens, New York. We have Zach Gallen going up against Joey Lucchesi. I don't know why the Mets are not throwing Lucchesi more. He's been pitching pretty well up in the show. And, this is a 30-year-old guy. I mean, you know what you're going to get from Lucchesi. It's not like, let's see if he'll become a starter here. Zach Gallen coming off that spectacular start against the Cubs. Now, remember, when in that start, the gift was Arizona first 5. We took the money line because of low volatility, and it pushed. The first 3 under, first 5 under was screaming at us, but it was Tyon that messed with my head, and I should have bet it, and I didn't. On the road, Gallen struggled a little bit at times, but now he's coming off this spectacular start. Not a situation I generally want to back a pitcher. And we have Lucchesi being called up from AAA Syracuse. So these starts mean a ton to Lucchesi. And this is a 30-year-old coming up to the show. And I imagine if I was on a team, and I can't speak for the baseball, but in other sports, especially hockey, if you have a 30-year-old journeyman getting a spot start, the team is going to fight tooth and nail for him. This is these guys have fought hard to have this opportunity later in their career. I can't really speak for the Mets here. That last start, 5 2/3, 4 hits, no runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks, and 7-1 win at the Cards. He's only thrown 9 1/3 innings at home this year, and he's looked bad doing it, 6 earned runs. Diamondbacks versus lefties, just 244, 690. It seems like a nice spot for Lucchesi. Mets versus righties, 229, 719. Diamondbacks bullpen 4.51 ERA, and Mets bullpen 5.93 ERA since August 1st, being very bad. So let's just do the New York weather. 74 Fahrenheit, 5.1 miles per hour to right field, between 5.1 and 4.3 miles per hour. Let's go over the ballpark pal here in New York. It was great having Crystal Craig dropping that idea on the Blue Jays. We need more Crystal Craig in the chat. Thank you we need more female cappers rocking with us. Respect to Crystal, and thank you for sharing your thoughts on our Jays. Tough team to back, tough team to trust. Here we have Citi Field plus 5%, home runs minus 13%, doubles and triples minus 6% overall. We get over to the line history for this spot. We have Pinnacle sitting at plus 132 for the New York Mets. So the line's not moving towards Gallen. So it's 4 cents of movement. Then when we go over to the total here, we're sitting at Pinnacle has moved it to 8. When did they do this? Oh, they opened it at 8 and never moved it to 8.5. I did not realize that. So what did BetOnline do with this? When did they move it to 8.5? They opened it 8.5. Strange. These other books would open it at 8.5, but not Pinnacle. So Pinnacle's just sitting back saying, yeah, we'll take all of your overcash. Bookmaker didn't open it up till 8:14 in this morning, but they opened at 8.5. Anybody who wants the over, Pinnacle's just opening their arms to it. Huh. That is extremely interesting. Then from a cash flow standpoint here, we have 38% of the tickets and 46% of cash on the Mets. And look at that. That's crazy. This is nuts. 85% of tickets and 97% of cash on the under. Wow. I did not expect that at all. Take it away for us here, C-Mac. And give the cartel like in the Mets in the under. Rangers team total over 3.5 locked in for Joey Yurkovich. Take it away, though, for us, C-Mac. Interesting one here in Queens.
Yeah. When I was going through this morning, I thought this was a solid under spot. I just trusting here these pitchers. Gallen on the road, off the good start versus the Cubs. That last one, it's been tough for him to put a couple back-to-back on the road. But if he's on, he's on in this one. And Lucchesi back here at home, he has gotten ripped, but that's 5 years ago that I had to go back because I think when I was going through his numbers, he's 1-5 against these D-backs, but that was back. Most of those starts were 2018, and he got tattooed against him. I don't trust him. I'm leaning under, and if I had to, the Mets are definitely, the D-backs bats have just cooled off. And that's another tough reason. If you want to take Gallen here, I got to take him minus the half, first 5, which I'm thinking about. But can they get to good old Joey here? I'm not so sure. And the Mets, just lately, the last couple of weeks, the bats have woken up. But we know how bad they've been all year. So tough one here for me. At the moment, I'm off.
And I think that taking in this information, I probably didn't handle it right. Saying that Pinnacle's welcoming all this over, because when you see 97% cash on the under, it's the other way around. It's the other books are putting it 8.5, saying if anybody wants to bet an under, come here and bet it.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of stated that wrong. Okay, I'm off of this spot. This is not an appealing situation for me. So I am off.
I think it moves to 8 though later on in the day. This total.
Yeah, because some books didn't drop it until about 4 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, well said by Dan and Kelly, saying the only type of capper we need more of is winning cappers. Does not matter what their assigned sex at birth is.
Facts.
Okay. Well put. Okay, let's roll on. Darren Turner talking about that first game that we have popping off in 30 minutes, that Twinkies game. But let's talk and let's bring in our friend Jose Bouquet. There's Flash in the house. Flash, we need you. It's football season, baby. It's football season. We have not seen Flash since he gave us the Spain to win the Women's World Cup. Argentina and Spain, men's Women's World Cup winners. You've been very good to me, Flash, and we thank you, and it's great to see you. We need you for NFL. So let's go. Yankees, Red Sox, Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. Clark Schmidt going up against Tanner Houck. Let's take a look at the weather here at beautiful Fenway Park. We have 72. Oh, we have light rain coming in the middle of the game. Interesting. It starts at 72 Fahrenheit, 4.7 miles per hour to left, and stays between 4.7 and 6.5. Go over to Ballpark Pal, and their expectations of Fenway are minus 10% home runs, but plus 13% doubles and triples. We always see that when the wind's blowing into the Green Monster, and plus 8% overall runs. Then let's go into, and we have coming off the doubleheader yesterday, so we have bullpens that are taxed, but we'll let Jose touch on that. Let's go over to the line history here for this one. We'll start with this total. It opened up at 10 and is now at 9.5. So opened up at 10, and the first move was towards the over. This at 7:38 a.m. was at 10.5, and then that was a big drop an hour later to 9.5. So we have a move towards the under, a shocking move to the under. And then when we go over to the money line, we have the Red Sox sitting here minus 133, and they opened up minus 122, 11 cents of movement towards them after being swept yesterday. We get to the cash flow for this great rivalry. You have 32% of the tickets, and now 33% of the tickets and 90% of cash on the over, and this dropped from 10.5 to 9.5. Wow. Then 27% of tickets and 60% of cash on the Yankees. And the market moved towards the Red Sox. You have reverse line movement on side and total. Clark Schmidt coming off a quality start. 4-3 win at home versus the Tigers. 6 1/3, 3 earned runs. No walk, 6 Ks. On the road, he's been poor. He's struggled, especially in hitters' ballparks. In some pitchers' ballparks, he's been okay, but on the road, 5.29 ERA, 282 opponents batting average. Going up against Tanner Houck, who just got lit up in an 11-2 loss at home versus the Orioles. 5 earned runs over 5 1/3. He's not been good at home. Schmidt's not been good on the road. But if you go back to August 1st, still for your stats, Yankees versus righties are the worst in the league. 196 with a 635 OPS, while the Red Sox are 267, 783. And it's the Red Sox bullpen that's been falling apart for them now. 5.83 ERA since August 1st. Jose Bouquet, the most storied rivalry in baseball here. And Yanks took it to the Red Sox yesterday. What are your expectations of today, and have you moved on it?
Yeah, incredibly frustrating yesterday. I was on the Red Sox -1 in both games. They were 0 for 19, I think, with runners in scoring position yesterday. I wanted to blow my fucking brains out. But I believe in the Sox here again. I took a -1. I took a -1 plus 115 for me. Tanner Houck pitches well against the Yankees. I think that 0 for 19 with runners in scoring position has got to change. Both bullpens are fucking taxed, I can tell you that. But I'm hoping to see Tanner Houck for 5, 2 times through the order, basically, because he can't go through the order a third time. And then hopefully Garrett Whitlock will piggyback off of him, and then who knows from there. But Red Sox -1 for me pretty easily.
Interesting. I mean, I certainly like the market, and then coming off the being swept. Schmidt 0-11 versus teams averaging over 4.9 runs a game and losing by over 2.5 runs. There's our guy Sammy Culmer in the house. Let's hear what CMAC has to say about Yankees Red Sox at Fenway.
Yeah, Clark Schmidt on the road, not be good. But this is gone. That's why I think I'm leaning to this under. Is both these pitchers just have had good starts, versus these teams. You mentioned Houck and Schmidt. Yankees still can't hit. That's another reason. They're just awful. Trust this lineup at all. It just seems like there's Judge and nobody else. Torres and Stanton hit a home run every once in a while. Ugly. I can't take the Red Sox, though. I'm not going to take them at this number. But I'm looking at the under in this game. And take Devers. He goes yard.
Did you want to have a player prop yard homer player prop for your records here, or
no? I'm gonna go on with Sharpie and give out some homers today.
Props there.
Connor, I was feeling a Devers home run today as well, but I was gonna wait until Garrett Cole got on the bump. But I like that as well.
I like the price.
We got Dan Kelly giving us golf looks, and our guy Deshaun G giving us UFC looks. Thank you to both of you guys. Joe Yergin says it's the averagest of all averagest games you can get. Londo Big Booty Latina play today is the over 9.5. Lean for CMAC to the under. We have
I
rain
also lean to the under as well, by the way.
and rain coming in halfway through. You know what? I'm going to take a closer look at the weather here. Let's just go to AccuWeather or something. Boston.
I heard that this game might not go, and they might just do a doubleheader tomorrow as well.
Let's see here. We have thunderstorms. Let's go a little deeper. If we can get this hourly here. Hourly, we have showers and a thunderstorm. Yeah, this does not appeal to me at all. This does not appeal to me at all. So, Jose though is on the Red Sox -1, and Londo on the over 9.5. Jose, we have a few more games on the card before we put a bow on it. Is there any other action that you have in this today for us?
I have locked in action on the Oakland A's, of course, who I believe is next on our card versus the Astros here. I've now bet on the A's for I think 3 straight days, and it's been cashers +1.5, +1.5, +1.5. I obviously haven't taken money line, so it's not been as lucrative as it could have been, but. I don't know. It's just been one of those things that the A's have just had good numbers. The market's favoring them that day, and I just take them. So I'm on them yet again here. The only difference is it's a shout out to our guy Paul Blackburn back in our lives. I've continued to call him the king of the first 5 innings, and I've continued to cash on him. I don't have his updated full season first 5 record, but I'll continue to take first 5 money line, first 5 +0.5 with him. Now it's a sweat. It's every time it's a sweat, and every time it seems to be a tie for whatever reason. I push the money line and I cash the +1.5 or the +0.5. So it's going to be sweaty 100%. But those are the only 2. I'm not even on full game +1.5 here because I think that bullpen for the A's might be a little bit too taxed, and then it might get touched up. But I'm relying on Paul Blackburn here again. It's just the weekly bet I make when he's on the bump.
So you have the A's first 5 +0.5 or just first 5?
I have both. Money line I got last night at +198, and then first 5 +0.5 is at +130.
+0.5 or +130. Why was he pulled after 3 innings in his last start in their win at Texas? Do you know?
I actually don't. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't remember why. Maybe it was because he was struggling. I don't remember. I haven't gotten to my full writing down all their starts yet.
He had 87 pitches.
He did it. Yeah, because he allowed 6 hits, but only 2 earned runs. Okay, that makes sense with the 87 pitches. Mike M says Blackburn in this spot, 5-0 trend, winning by over 2.5 runs. Here we go. Let's touch on this here and then hear what C-Mac has to say about Blackburn versus Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown is, hit that rookie wall a while ago and hasn't seemed to be able to crash through it. Cash Action Bet says he thinks Oakland's going to get annihilated tonight, but RVD 420 is with you on that first 5 spot. So, and Rocco Rogers says he went over 100 pitches 2 games before, but I think they were just giving him a break. Blackburn on the road, 4.23 ERA, 328 opponent's batting average, but only allowed 4 home runs with all those hits that he's allowed. Let's take a look at the line history here for this A's Astros spot. The total is at 9. It opened up -111. Now it's at -109. So we've had no movement on the total, and the money line here we have is sitting with the Astros at -261. They opened up at 257, so we really had no movement in this game. When we go to action, we have 13% of the tickets and 70% of the cash on the Oakland A's, 84% of tickets and 99% of cash on the over, but it's not been moving towards the over. Excuse me. Wow. So Blackburn against Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown's last start, 6 earned runs over 4 1/3 at home versus the Padres. He's got a 6.07 ERA at home right now. And he's got a 6.07 ERA, and he's only allowed 6 home runs in 59 1/3. So he's just getting hit all over the ballpark, but not out of the ballpark. A's versus righties since August 1st, 235, 738 OPS. Astros, 277, 805. And the Astros bullpen, 3.26 ERA since August 1st, while the A's bullpen's been better, 4.56. Deshaun G looking at Royce Lewis RBI for that game that's popping off here shortly. C-Mac, take it away. Your thoughts on this battle here in the
Yeah.
AL West.
I mean, can Oakland sweep the Astros in this one? I don't know, but Blackburn has gotten hit really bad by these Astros a few times. He did have a start earlier this year, but I think it was a no decision. He didn't get the loss, but he's 0-4 with the 9 ERA in his career. I worry he gets pounded, but the value is with the A's, so I look that way. They've played to a ton of unders too, so far, these two teams. But I think Hunter Brown's way past his innings limit, and I think there's runs by both teams. So I'm looking at the over a little bit. I wish this was 8.5, not 9, and even the A's team total over, because I do think they can get some off Brown. I need more time with this, like I do. I need in a bunch of these games.
What do you think of the total, Jose?
I'd probably lean over, honestly. Just based off, like you guys mentioned, Hunter Brown over his innings max or whatever we're gonna call it, and the A's getting that love from the market. Seems like again they're always live, but 99% of the money on the over. That's one of those things that I typically want to fade most of the time. So I passed on the total, obviously.
Yeah, I just don't understand really why that total isn't skyrocketing up. It hasn't moved. This has been out since 5 p.m. yesterday. Check that out, man. I gotta get these out. But we have our guy Pistol Pete Loshak heading over to Dan Kelly's spot. That is so much fun. We need pictures. We need pics, man. Pics and respect. That's so cool.
Nice.
I love that, Dan. And he says all low
Pete
bag.
is very photogenic.
He is, yeah. All right. We have Joe Yurkovich on Oakland first 5 plus 1.5. Jarek White on Houston on the run line. Jose on the A's first 5 plus half plus 130 in the first 5 money line at plus 198. Let's roll on. Next up for us, 7:40 p.m. Eastern, Kansas City Royals 45 and 101, 19 and 55 on the road. Chicago White Sox 56 and 89, 29-41 at home. Guaranteed rate field. So we have Steven Cruz. He's not going to be in there for very long. 24-year-old Dominican. He is the closer in Double-A. I don't think he was the closer in Omaha. He did get to close 3 games. I don't think he got that role. In Double-A, he looked excellent closing games. In Triple-A, he only 17 inning sample size, which was 14 appearances, but he got touched up. And he ended up with a 6.88 ERA, 13 earned runs. So he got touched up there. In Double-A, though, he allowed 1 home run in 32 innings as the closer there and looked quite good doing it. Had 9 saves in Double-A. So he's rocking the first inning. After Steven Cruz, we have Alec Marsh as EOL primary. There's our guy, Son Dizzle, in the house at an airport somewhere. Nice to see you, Son Dizzle, my man. Alec Marsh, the primary, 0-8, 5.95 ERA, 1.63 whip, 66 Ks in 56 innings. He last appeared in the Blue Jay series, and it was as a primary, and he was much better. Rob Garvey, great to see you. Eric Jones says A's 9-2 to the over in this spot. Astros 7-2 to the over also. Billy Friedrich says White Sox longest win streak of the season is 5 games. Only the Rockies have a shorter best win streak of a season at 4 games. Both KC and the A's have won 7 in a row this season. They've been so bad. When I was looking, I was like 56 and 89. How wrong was I on the Chicago White Sox? Because there was a time this year where I took them to win the division at 6-1, where I was like, oh, they're still in. They're only 5 games out, and I was like, oh, they could. Oh God, I was just so wrong. TJ is back in action with us. He is on the over in this one after a ton of runs yesterday. So let's take a look at the weather for the south side. 64 Fahrenheit, 8.6 miles per hour, left to right, very slightly out, dies down to 5.6. Go over to Ballpark Pals expectations of guaranteed rate plus 4% home runs, minus 12% doubles and triples, minus 2% overall. Then let's move over to the line history. Knowing that TJ's on this over, let's take a look at the total. It is sitting at 9, juice to the over. Opened up at 8.5 at 10:25 this morning. The line didn't come out to 10:25 this morning, and it only lasted there for 19 minutes before it hit a 9. It's a quick move to the over after last night's huge offensive explosion. We have Clevenger at minus 143. He opened up. They opened up minus 150, so we've had a slight move towards these Kansas City Royals. And we take a look at the cash flow then for this Royal spot. We have 84% of tickets on the over. We don't have any cash flow. And you have 16% of tickets and 34% cash on these Royals. All right, there's my guy, Justin McElvey. Nice to see you, man. So, Clevenger, Marsh. Clevenger coming off that excellent start at the Tigers, the start before he got completely dominated. So it was a big bounce back start for him. He's been good at home this year, but the Royals are hitting right now. Since August 1st, 264, 752 OPS versus righties. White Sox, no power, just 692 OPS. And both bullpens bad, both bullpens taxed. Maybe the under is just a very, very simple look that will pay us out. What do you think here, C-Mac? Royals, White Sox?
They need both bullpens, like you mentioned, are taxed, especially the White Sox. They need Clevenger to go give them 5 or 6. I mean, Toussaint was out right away. He just got blasted in game 2. Alec Marsh has just been horrible. He looks like he's going to be the primary. I do think there's runs. One thing, it's tough, knowing he's going to be on the mound and there's going to be runs. But I got to look at the Royals here in this game. The White Sox should not be this price, even with Mike Clevenger on the hill. I wanted to wait for the lineup for the Royals, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on them.
Yeah, I get it. And Marsh would look good in that primary spot against the Jays, but the Jays weren't hitting at that time, and neither really are the White Sox. Did you want to make this official here, the Royals?
I did want to look at their lineup real quick, but I'm going to be on them.
All right, so maybe that's a tweet out spot. He's going to be on the Royals. We don't have them as an official pick here. I agree with TJ. I think that this is a spot where you're going to need Clevenger to go deeper than you would normally. TJ says you're going to get guys out of the bullpen in back-to-back spots that normally aren't. So, C-Mac looking at the Royals. I'm going to join TJ on this over. I think this will be 9.5 come game time. Who knows? You might even.
I wish I had the 8.5. I don't mind the 9, but I think it gets over.
I do too, and I'm going to bet it. All right, let's move on. Next up for us, 7:40 p.m. Eastern, Miami Marlins at Milwaukee Brewers. And those of you who have been asking for it, we have reached the gift play of the day. It is here. The gift play of the day is 34-14. My goodness. Plus 19.93 units. ROI plus 37.2%. Average line minus 105. And the gift is the Milwaukee Brewers. At home, American Family Field. They have Trevor Megal starting as an opener and then Colin Ray coming in as the primary. Going up against Braxton Garrett. I mean, the key split is the Brewers are hitting 299 with an 844 OPS first lefty since August 1st. Here we go. We'll start with the weather in Milwaukee. The roof will be closed, I imagine. 62 Fahrenheit at first pitch, but it gets colder as the game goes on, down to 56 Fahrenheit. We do know now, thanks to a low bagger comment on one of our videos, that there is no, when I was talking about Bud Selig being cheap, there is no air conditioning at American Family Field. So when it's hot, they have to open the stadium. So when it was 110 degrees that day, the dumbest move you could have possibly done was be on the under, like I was in that spot with the roof open and everyone sweating buckets. So Colin Ray and Braxton Garrett here. Let's take a look at the line history for this spot. This is sitting at an 8, 7.5. Pinnacle's just moved it to 7.5. Wow. This opened up at 8, and the first move was towards the over. This didn't come out till 8:10 a.m. This got up to 8.5 at 9 a.m. It only lasted there for like 6 minutes, but now we have a 7.5. At one point, it did jump back up to 8, but it's at 7.5. So we have a big move to the under. So I guess they're certainly expecting this Trevor Megal to Colin Ray combo to succeed. Let's go over to the money line in this spot. We have Garrett at plus 104. He opened at minus 110. So the Marlins have gone from favorites to dogs. I mean, that's a big move. Favorites to dogs. This look over from our guy TJ makes a ton of sense to me. Makes a ton of sense. Let's take a look at the cash here for this one. We have 40% of the tickets and 64% of cash on the Brewers. They've gone from dog to favorite. And from a total perspective, we have 50% of the tickets and 97% of cash on the over, and it's dropped to the under. Billy Frieder says, Marlins are 19-9 straight up in games Garrett has started this season, and Garrett's been very good on the road. He struggled at home, but it's more about what the Brewers are doing to lefties, I imagine, and then the Marlins' weak bullpen, 4.58 ERA since August 1st compared to this Brewers shutdown bullpen. Ray won't be in for very long. And he's allowed 22 homers, 109 in the third, 5.02 ERA. It's going to go Megal, Ray for what, 3 or 4, and then into that bullpen. That's spectacular. I love what TJ's doing. This gift makes perfect sense to me. Not only do we thank you for sharing it, regardless of the outcome, but I will be betting it. Take it away, C-Mac. Marlins, Brewers.
Yeah, I like it too. I like the Brewers when I was going through this in the morning. One thing too, both teams were kind of hitting, the last couple of weeks, and Brewers win 12-0. The Marlins only scored, it was a 3-1 game yesterday, and this total is going down, like you talked about, to 8, this in 7.5. Few guys of these Brewers have success off Garrett, and you talked about the numbers the last month and a half off lefties. I like him here today. I agree with you, Brew Crew for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. This is something
full game too. I want the pen.
I even looked at this. I don't know why it didn't illuminate to me till now. Minus 113 over at Pinnacle. Now TJ got the Brewers at plus money. Top Shelf Plays is on the other side with the Marlins. Let's pull this up. So C-Mac is on the Brewers minus 113, as will I will be. And Top Shelf says the Marlins money line is easy money. So going up against the gift, that's 34 and 14, and the gift that's gone from dog to favorite. Okay, so there we go. Brewers for TJ, C-Mac, and myself, but Top Shelf on the other side. Let's move on. We have one more game before we get into our college football looks. Both Connor and I have a bet that we've made on college football that we're going to share with you guys, so that will come right after this. But let's talk about the final game on the board. C-Max, Dodgers in action here, and what a pitching matchup. Pepio versus Snell. Pepio, after the perfect game, got bucked in the 8th inning of that one. Just Pepio is being the Dodgers pitching factory. The Dodgers scouting department. Look at the scouting department. Everybody's got to. We always said, "Oh yeah, whatever the Rays' decisions to make around pitching, we trust." Well, the Dodgers have to be involved in that conversation now. What these pitchers have done is absolutely spectacular. Top Shelf Plays says under. Let's talk about it. Padres, Dodgers, Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. These Dodgers now 48 and 25 at home. Sun Dizzle is on the Padres money line, first 5 innings backing Blake Snell. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. First off, the total in our final MLB on the board is sitting at 8. And this opened up at 8.5. And another interesting thing, this first move was towards the over 2, just like in the Brewers game. This went from 8.5 to 9. It was at 9 at 9 p.m. And then it took 12 hours before it went back to 8.5. And now it's at 8. So we've had a big move to the under, but that was not the initial move. The initial move was towards the over. Take a look at the money line on this one, and you have Pepio opening up minus 124. He's now minus 118, so a slight move towards these Friars here. Great line for the Mike M says Blake Snell 1-13 straight up against a team he beat in the previous meeting if the line is longer than minus 115. I think he meant to say minus 115, which it is here. Here we go. Snell versus Pepio. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. You have 43% of the tickets and 86% of cash on the under. Obviously, it was some sharp money there because this had moved towards the over initially. Then you have 67% of tickets and 85% of cash on the Dodgers, even though the lines, the lines move slightly towards these Padres. Snell last start 11-2 win at Houston, went 6 innings, allowed just 2 earned runs. That was up against Hunter Brown. And that was against a team that smashes lefties, just like this one does. 283, 857 OPS. Eaton Weedy says can't bet against Snell, but can you bet against Pepio? Pepio coming off 7 innings of perfection. At home, he's allowed 1 earned run in 10 innings with a 147 opponent's batting average. And the Dodgers bullpen a huge advantage here. Take it away, C-Mac. Your Dodgers didn't play at Dodger Stadium. You like them here?
I do. I think I'd lean the Dodgers, but I like the total more. And the last 2 nights, I like the over, especially game 1. Dodgers take care of business. We see a ton of runs with the bad pitchers. But I like the under here, 8.5 in this one. For some reason, Snell kind of pitches all right with the Dodgers. He just goes out and does what he does. Walks a few. He goes 5 or 6. He's already had a start here in LA where he gave up 2. And then at home, I think it's that last start he gave up 3. He'll be able to do it, and he'll be able to shut down some of these Dodgers. They might get a couple off him. But Pepio's just in – the Dodgers need pitching. So it's like he has been really, really good. And I think he's really, really good here again tonight. So I'm on the under 8.5. And I'm probably going to have a play here on the Dodgers.
Under 8.5, minus 115 at Will Hill. Did you think about moving on the first 5 to stay away from that Padres bullpen?
Yeah. Full game. First 5 just haven't been great for me all year. I've just kind of gone to full game and it's stuck, unless it's a situation a little bit like this. So I get it.
At 4.5.
What's the price?
I like that 4.5. 4.5. I mean, Pinnacle has a 4 listed, but the 4.5 is at around minus 115 at Will Hill. That's the best line available. Joe Yerver says Dodgers and overs have been amazing. Can't go against it. Billy Friedrich says Snell's walked 11 batters in his 3 starts versus LA this season. If he walks 3 or 4 tonight, he will get shelled. Luck only lasts so long. Well, C-Mac is on the full game under. I like it. I'm going to look, though, more at the first 5 under 4.5. I'm not sure if I get to the window, but I'm very, very interested in it. That is our MLB breakdowns. We each have a spot in college football that we are attacking. We're going to get to that next. Connor will go first, and I'll go second. But let's review all action. The Twinkies game is starting right now. We got our guy Mally Mal on the Twins first 5 at plus 110. Londo is on. Londo's on the over 8.5. And TJ says I was hoping Dodger money would come in, but line going to San Diego, so he can't bet it. Billy Friedrich's on the first 5 over 4.5 and the full game over 8.5 here. Then in the 310 spot, Rockies, Cubbies. TJ's on the Cubs first 5 minus a half. Londo's on the Cubs. Kelly McInnes on the over 11.5. Billy Friedrich on the other side. Rockies first 5 and full game. Then we're on unders in Cleveland, San Francisco. I got the first 5 and full game under. Beat the line moves there with the 8.5 and the 4.5. And C-Mac got the under 8 at minus 115, and that was a nice find. It was at a few different books, but they're worth 7.5 on the board. Then we move on to Angels Mariners. We stayed off. C-Mac is on. Oh, C-Mac, you were deciding between the Orioles run line or Orioles team total over. Did you come to a decision on that?
Not yet.
Ron Crawford is on the Orioles -1. Jose's on the Orioles -1. I am on the Orioles -1. Mike M's ribeye play today is Goldschmidt at plus 195. He's also on the Moose at plus 235 and Harper at plus 225. I am on the Braves first 5 minus a half. I did not realize that was not part of the plan initially, but after capping the game, I think Strider bounces back and I like them. First 5 minus a half. Mike M. Pimp slap play today is the Detroit Tigers. Their E-Rod's 14-0 when the total is 8 or higher versus the NL. Stacks play today from Justin McElvey's the Tigers team total over 4.5 at plus 110. That was a spot that C-Mac was looking at as well. Gifted Cartels play of the day number 1 is the St. Louis Cardinals team total over. And play of the number 2 play of the day is the Texas Rangers. The taint play of the day is Blue Jays money line at minus 125. We also have Wine Time and Londo on that Blue Jays money line. Diamondbacks Mets stayed off. We have from Deshaun G a Jasmine Jasuda Vicious plus 102 says good parlay add on. Londo Big Booty Latina play of the day is the over 9.5 in Boston, New York. Yankees. Jose's on the Red Sox minus 1. We stayed off that. Jose's on the A's first 5 plus a half and first 5 money line. Jarek White's on the Astros run line. Joe Yurkovich on the A's first 5 plus 1.5 at minus 125. Interesting. The Kansas City Royals is for C-Mac. He didn't make that official. He's waiting to see a lineup. TJ's on the over, and I'm joining him on the over in Royals, White Sox. TJ's gift play today is the Brewers. C-Mac moved on it, and I want to move on it and plan on moving on it. C-Mac's on the Dodgers, Padres under 8.5 minus 115, and I think I move on the first 5 under 4.5. I'm just going to take a little bit more time. Cash action bets is on Twins, Philadelphia, the Giants, the Reds, the Jays, and the Dodgers. TJ says, did you guys have a lean on the Yankees Red Sox game? The rain concerns me quite a bit. You know, if that Red Sox bullpen has to come in too early, I think it's going to hurt Boston. Jose spoke about Houck's numbers against the Yankees. Now he can be trusted there, even though Schmidt can't be trusted on the road. And then we had the surprising move towards the under in that game, and that was Jose's lean. The game does not make me feel comfortable for an edge that I can trust and bet. Did you have a lean on that, C-Mac?
Yeah, I have to go back to the under with these two teams right now.
Okay.
9.5.
Okay, let's move into college football. C-Mac, you got a spot on Friday. It's great that we get to cap this game here on a Wednesday because we will touch on it again on Friday. C-Mac, you start with the Utah State Aggies in their Mountain West opener at the Air Force Falcons at Falcon Stadium, Boulder, Colorado. 64 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 4 miles per hour. Let's move over to NCAA football and see what's going on with this line movement. Get the cash flow up here over to college football as well. Here we go. Let's get this all set up. Little Friday night football action thanks to C-Mac, and I got everything up here now. So let's go. Move over here. God, sorry, one more thing I got to do. Should have done this already. Okay, well, let's start with the line history here in this one. We have Air Force has moved to 10 at some books. But they're at 9.5 at Pinnacle, and this 9.5 is actually juiced towards Utah State, juiced towards the Aggies. This opened up at 9.5, and that's where it is right now. So we've actually had a 5-cent move towards Utah State, and this did move a half point in their direction for a while, but it's right back at where it opened. From a total perspective, we have the sitting at 47. A lot of books have moved it to 46.5. This got down to 45.5. So this first move got all the way down to 45.5, and now we're up to 47. We did get up to 47.5 early this morning. So we have a slight move to the over, and then a very slight move towards the Aggies. When we look at the cash flow, we have a really 50-50 spot. 55% of the tickets on Utah State, 57% of the cash. And from a total perspective, we have 54% of tickets and 97% of cash on the under. But we've had this big, huge uptick towards the over, which is very, very surprising. Here we have Air Force coming in off of cupcakes They beat not Sam Houston, but Robert Morris to start the year at home. They beat them 42-7. Then they have a tough defensive battle against Sam Houston State, winning that 13-3. Utah State opened up with a real tough game at Iowa. You know, they came back and beat Idaho State 78-28, and we don't really care about that spot, but that was a big game and a tough game against Iowa, losing 24-14, staying in the game. They were 24-point dogs, and you know, they outscored Iowa in the second half. And that's an impressive.
Yeah, outgained them. Yeah.
Yeah, at Kinnick Stadium. That's pretty impressive. Take it away for us here, C-Mac. This is your spot on the board, Utah State Air Force.
Yeah, just on that game. Iowa wins games like that, but I saw the second half. I think they played well, 329 to 284. They did have one pick, did Legas. Let's hit the total because this has got into it. Both these teams, well, really Air Force has really been good to the under the last couple of years. And the last 2 years when these teams get together, there's just been a ton of points. Fireworks, 49-45, which is a total shootout. Utah State won 2001 at home. And then last year it was 34-27 and a bunch of points there. So Anderson has likes this Air Force team. He's found something out. They don't bother him. This is a small road trip for Utah State, you know, here. It's not crazy long. Legas, last year, 215 passing. They ran for 200. And it's so early on, I haven't been impressed by Air Force. You know, they have a quarterback change, but he's basically the same as Daniels, Zach Lair. They're similar type guys. I haven't seen a ton of them, but you mentioned Robert Morris, 42-7. And then Sam Houston, who's just really bad offensively, the 13-3. This number, to me, Jimmy, was way too high. I think they'll be able to move the ball, whether the game stays low scoring or we do get more, you know, points and fireworks that we've seen the last couple of years. But Legas has had success with the win. You know, this is on the road, but I thought this would be under a touchdown. I thought Air Force right now, from everything, my rankings, everything I put in, to me, Air Force is a 3.5 point favorite. I haven't been impressed too much with them, and it's very early on. I thought 10 here. Get the 10 with Utah State. And, of course, I'm going to have some money line. You're almost getting plus 300. I think you got to put some on this money line. Can they win 3 in a row? I'm sure Air Force will be pumped for this. But we know how slow they are. Even if they have the lead, I think Legas can come back, keep them in this ball game, and I got to be on Utah State.
Wow, it's a great breakdown. The plus 10 minus 112 over at Bet Online, and that's
get the 10.
Wow, I like that. Utah State plus 10 minus 112 over at Bet Online. So there is C-Mac's look here. We're going to be doing more college football on Wednesdays. We're started building up. So
yeah, well, because I bet this. We could have gone over a few games because there's I have a couple more and a bunch I think we could have talked about, but I think we can get to that in the next few weeks. You know,
yeah,
a few more games.
We'll start building more, and then soon when baseball season's in the playoffs, we'll do. You know, then we'll have NHL as well. So we'll talk it all out. I liked my looks last week. 3 looks, of course. NC State was a bad one. ODU won outright. That was a great look, and Cal should have won outright, but still covered the point. So I felt, and I was like, I want to do the exact same thing. You know, I had 3 dogs at home that I believed in. Where the market, it all correlated to me. So
real quick, Jimmy, there was 3 that kind of are on my mind. Old Dominion was one that I don't know if I bet all 3. Michigan State, everyone loves. And they're going through a lot of problems right now, obviously, with Tucker. Everyone loves Washington. It's just they're going to go in there and win by 17. So that one, to me, is a dig more. And even Florida. There's a lot of 6.5s, but if it was over 7. But home dogs, double-digit dogs, the more you have, I think the more you will win consistently in college football. And you won 2 of the 3. And NC State has been phenomenal at home. You know, Notre Dame kind of just took them Took him in the second half.
And there were cappers in the chat that thought that Notre Dame, that I didn't have them ranked as high as I should. When I was going over this card, there was Missouri and Old Dominion that were very close. The issue I had backing Old Dominion at home against Wake is that it's going to be a really high scoring game. And
yeah, there's going to be points.
And that was enough where I was like, and I just cashed with them outright. Now people are going to be on board. Like, we were ahead of the market last week. Are we here? And I was just, I felt hesitant. With Missouri, there was so many boxes that I ticked, but not really what's going on the field.
Yeah.
So I couldn't sit here because you guys talked about the conviction I had in my breakdowns last week, and I really, really believed in them. I really believed in those three spots. I kept saying, if you bet them all, we're going to turn a profit. I really, really believed in them. And then, so with the Missouri and the ODU, I was like, you know what? I'm not betting them yet, and we don't need content just for content. And Billy Friedrich talking about that weather delay in NC State was a big, problem here. So here we go. This is a bet I have made where everything is ticked. Now, we talked about Ricky Ronnie and how many they'd lost, 6 straight at home. It was time. He's a coach that is so intense. And I really believed him in that spot. I'm not sure if I'll move back, but this is a spot that I wanted badly. And I bet, and I'm confident in. Saturday, September 16th at 12 p.m. Eastern, Liberty Flames undefeated at the Buffalo Bulls 0-2. We're at UB Stadium in Buffalo, New York. 68 Fahrenheit, sunny, 8 miles per hour is the wind. Going to the line history here for this one. We have been bouncing back and forth from 3 to 3.5. Pinnacle opened this at 3.5. But if you go over to a spot like Bet Online, let me just move over to Bet Online. Bet Online, which is now at a 3. Bet Online opened this at 5. Not only that, I guess this was a big move at Bet Online. It took 10 minutes for it to go from 5 to 4.5. It took 11 minutes for it to go to 4.5 to 3.5, and then it went to 3. Once it got to 3, it went back to 3.5 and back and forth. From a total perspective here, let's move over here. Just take a second. So many games. From a total perspective, here we are dealing with this Bulls spot dropping. This number's dropping. It's now at 55.5. It opened at 56.5, so we have a 1-point drop. We get over to the cash flow in this one. Sorry, let's move over to Saturday action. We have nothing. No information on the total. On the spread, do we have any? Yes, on the spread, we have 40% of the tickets and 63% of the cash on Buffalo. And Billy Friedrich says Buffalo plus 3.5 at -115 at Bookmaker. And Reclaim James is on Liberty. And of course. So, and you guys know this was, the ODU spot was the exact same situation. Of course, nobody's going to want ODU. Liberty comes in off home wins over Bowling Green, 34-24 as 8.5-point favorites in week 1. Then they won 33-17 over New Mexico State last week as 9-point favorites. So they start with these 2 home games. Buffalo opened their season with the 38-17 loss at Wisconsin. They were 29-point dogs, and they played good in that football team. They played really good. Maurice Linguist was very pleased. They were all pumped up. Then they have Fordham come to town. So they're overly confident because they played Wisconsin tough. They get up 21-3, and they let Fordham back in the game. And then they lose. They lose 40-37 as 23.5-point favorites. That is the kick in the teeth for a team early in the season that I want to back the following week. There's no way that we get this number if they don't take their foot off the gas and take Fordham too lightly. The Fordham comes in, they take them lightly, they get out to the 21-3 lead, and they just stop. Their focus falls apart. Maurice Linguist now has this 0-2 team. Now, the Bulls haven't been good, but the recruiting has always been very, very high compared to the opposition in the MAC. And Cole Snyder is a senior quarterback that is so angry about what happened last week. And there was nothing he could do. He did everything he could. He had a great game. You have Marlon Johnson, his senior wide receiver. They have a connection, 7 catches, 2 touchdowns, 105 yards last game. Then you have Mike Washington, the sophomore running back. But this is all about Brian Brand's defense. It's his 7th season as a defensive coordinator, and that was a goddamn embarrassment last week. He will get fired.
Yeah.
Caden Salter has looked good this year for Liberty, but he's completing 57.8% of his passes. Now, yes, they have Quentin Cooley at running back and CJ Daniels, who's 24.3 yards per game. But this is everything that I want. You have a home team that's not traveling, that just got kicked in the teeth, the one that's being yelled and screamed at nonstop by their coaches, going up against a team that hasn't played a road game this year. This is everything that I want. Every single thing that I want. It correlates perfect. And I'm on the Buffalo Bulls, and I bet it. What do you think of the spot that I moved on, C-Mac? Take it away, Liberty Buffalo.
You got the hook, right? With Buffalo?
3.5. Yeah, without any juice. 3.5 minus 110.
There's one key for me in this game is Buffalo's run defense. It just was gashed versus Wisconsin. They have 500 total. I think they gave up 300 on the ground and 459 against Fordham. Just 150 on the ground, over 300 in the air. And if Liberty keeps running it, they had 246 against Bowling Green and 250 against New Mexico State. If they're able to run it, they'll be in the game. But, I mean, they're favorites, here in this one. So Buffalo's got to get better at that, or they will lose this game at home because the defense just hasn't been very good. But I think they could stay within this one. I'd feel a lot better, as you got the hook. So that's all that matters there. So I haven't seen enough to back even Buffalo at home as this small of a dog. So this was a game I stayed off until I see the defense get better. Because the offense, I think, should be able to move the ball against Liberty. And both teams, the total to me is kind of interesting. Does it better and they slow it down? Do we stay under this 55.5? Obviously, it's pretty large. Or are we going to get into a back and forth and it gets over? Because initially, I kind of want to take the under, but I don't trust the defenses, especially Buffalo right now. I got to see more. You mentioned Salter, decent quarterback for Liberty. So this was a tough one for me. It is a watch.
This is a perfect spot.
It's a good spot for Buffalo.
It's absolutely perfect. The public's going to be all over the 2-0 Liberty Flames, all over them. And Brand is going to get fired. He knows what just happened. They were just embarrassed, and now they don't have to travel. This is, as I said, I'm looking for these spots where everything clicks. And because we get, 70, 80, 90 different games to look at, you can find them where every single thing clicks. And this is it. Every single thing clicks. Jarek White says, you sprinkling money line? No. I get it. I get why somebody would. But no, I got in 3.5s are still widely available. Some books have moved to 3, but lots of books have 3.5s. This is just everything that I want in college football, and my new ability to not have double-digit games of action on Saturdays is what worked last year, and I expect it to work again this year. So I'm on the Buffalo Bills plus 3.5. Reclaim James, you're going to be on, with a lot of people on Liberty. So you're probably going to have a lot of great cappers with you on that side as well. So and that's part of the fun, Reclaim James, is, we don't have to agree with everything, and that makes the game more enjoyable because, I can think about cashing with the Bulls and I can think about you eating ass, and we can all enjoy every second of it, I love you, Reclaim James. Respect and good luck. It's fun going up against each other. That is our show for today. I am on the Buffalo Bulls CMAC is on plus 3.5. CMAC's on Utah State plus 10. And that is our situation here. We have talked about everything in MLB. We'll do one last run through here of all of our action. Sean Childress, AAA Columbus Clippers. Collins Clip says Jimmy needs rest. I can't. I'm going right to the. I got to get my computer fixed. I can't have it crashing for our live streams anymore. It's just throwing me into a fit of rage. So I'm going right now to get my computer fixed. I'm going to take Ella and we're going to head up to the mall, pick her up, let's go head up to the mall and get this computer fixed. So Wine Time Sports has two looks. He's on the Twins and the Jays. The ass eater play today is Oryx Buffaloes. And Sean Childress is on the AAA Columbus Clippers. Deshaun G's on the Royce Lewis RBI here in this Twinkies game. And I believe Rocco's on the Royce Homer. And then we have the Londo winning Wednesday play today is the over 8.5 in Tampa Bay, Minnesota. Mally Mal's on the Twins first 5. Londo also on the Jays money line with Wine Time. Billy Friedrich's on the first 5 over 4.5, full game over 8.5, Tampa Bay, Minnesota. Then TJ's on the Cubs first 5 -0.5. Londo's on the Cubs. Kelly McKinnis on the over 11.5. Billy Friedrich on the first 5 full game for the Rockies. I'm on the first 5 under 4.5, full game under 8.5 in Cleveland, San Francisco. CMAX on the under 8 -115. Razor Sharp Picks gave us his full Delaware card. I put it in the chat a couple times. I'm going to put it in once more because we're very, very fortunate that a guy like Razor puts in all his hard work and then just hands us the fruits of all of his labor. Angels, Mariners, we stayed off. Londo is on the under in the Giants game. He's on Toronto money line and the over 9.5 in the Red Sox game and the under 8.5 in the Dodgers game. CMAC is deciding between the Orioles run line and the Orioles team total over. Ron Crawford, Jose, and I are all on the Orioles -1. We stayed off Nats, Pittsburgh. Goldschmidt, RBI is the ribeye play of the day plus 195. Moustakis at plus 235 for Mikey M and Harper at plus 225. I'm moving on the Braves first 5 -0.5 as soon as this show's over. CMAC was thinking a lot about the Braves first 5 and we'll be making a decision. If he moves on it, he'll tweet it out and he'll tag me. So then we have the Tigers first 5 as the pimp slap play of the day. The stacks play today. Tigers team total over 4.5. Gifted Cartel says the Blue Jays are getting swept today. Rangers money line for him. Taint play today though is the Blue Jays. Diamondbacks Mets we stayed off. Big booty Latina play today is the over 9.5 in Boston, New York, and Jose's on the Red Sox -1. Jose's on the A's first 5 +0.5 and the A's first 5 money line. Jarek White's on Houston -1.5. Joe Yurkovich on Oakland first 5 +1.5 -125. TJ moved on the over 9 in the Royals White Sox game. I'm interested and going to move on it. And CMAC is thinking about moving on the Royals. Then we have TJ's gift play. Oh, did you move on that officially? CMAC?
No, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be on it. I just wanted to see the lineup.
Oh, I feel you. CMAC is on the Brewers -113. TJ's gift play of the day is the Brewers, and yes, we should have faded Keuchel, obviously. Hard to baseball is a fickle whore. Cash action bets is on the Twins, Phillies, Giants, Reds, Jays, Dodgers. CMAX on the under 8.5 in the Padres Dodgers game, and I'm very close to moving on the first 5 under 4.5. He's on Utah State +10. I'm on Buffalo Bulls +3.5, and that is our show for today. CMAC is going to be on the Walking Dead here in an hour and 35 minutes. Sharpie 21-7 in September. Then we have Say Hey plays of the day at 5 p.m. I believe this is a Dabby Cab Jose Day on a Wednesday. And we have our Cappers Contest show tomorrow. It's members only. It's at 3 p.m. Cappers Contest show members only at 3 p.m. tomorrow. And then Mikey M hosts our Thursday night live stream tomorrow evening. And that is the next little bit for us. So here we go. Billy Friedrich.
Get into that show real quick. Get in and vote for the Cappers contest show.
Yes, 3-2. And there is talk that Jeff Slaughter will have a gavel and a wig. And he
let me know that.
Yeah, he wants to be able to avoid a spot on the board with his gavel. And I think we'd get big laughs. I supported it. So we'll see if that happens here.
I support it too. It's his, yeah.
Yeah, he's a man. That is our show for today. Thank you guys so much. Thank you all. Kelly McInnes, Justin McElvey, Brian Watson, Tori Coker, Cash, Action, Bets, Rants, Darren Turner, Mally, Mal, DC Capper, Johnny K, Reclaim James. What a group. Brian Watson, Troy Torrance. Our NFL show is out. I have 8 bets on the NFL card. I'm a little nervous seeing the Vikings go to plus 6.5, but I have the Eagles a team total, first half team total over 13.5. I have the Bills team total over 13.5. I have unders.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
I
like
like it too.
the 13.5.
Yeah, it was Pinnacle wasn't offering it. Pinnacle was only offering the 14.5 at plus money. That at plus like 113 and 114. I was like, ooh, I don't think they want you to bet it. And I got minus 120, minus 130. So I did have to pay for that. I got unders also in the Bucks game. I got the under. I think I got in the Bucks game. I got the under 41.5 Bucks Bears and Saints Panthers. I got under 40, and then I doubled up on the Chiefs first half full game and the Giants first half and full game. But thank you guys, Jarek White, Eaton, Weeds, Kongs, Clips, Dom, Play. All you guys, we have live scratching coming to us from Knoxville, Tennessee. Control your vessel. Thank you guys, all of you. Truly, we have nothing without you guys. C-Mac, you're the man. Thank you for all your hard work here. And love these Wednesdays that we rock together. Good luck on the Balking Dead alongside Sharpie. And thank you to our producer, Jose, all his hard work. And also, he was up all night cutting up the NFL videos. Thank you for all that hard work, Jose, to make Troy and I look good. And C-Mac, the floor is yours to put a bow on this show, my friend.
Yeah, let's get out. You mentioned it. Shout out to the chat. Best goddamn chat in the goddamn game. Hands down. I always say it, but it's the truth. Here, Post Sports Radio, you guys. You just mentioned yours make you look good. Shout out to Jose for cutting up. Go check out the College Football Show. Get in the books and go check them all individual as well. However you want to do it, go support it. But we're out of here, baby. Let's get paid. Peace. Leche. Bookmakers. Peace.